You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I really think a lot of it is just honing in on what your natural interests are, starting small with that too in a more realistic capacity, and then just growing from there. And your passions will lead you.
Ooh, okay. Wait a second.
Right? There you go. Soundbite.
Yes, that was good. Okay, we're going to grab that.
Dental sound bites, created for dentists by dentists.
Do things that make you happy. And that's my drop the mic moment.
I love that.
Dental sound bites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4,121. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, Taryn Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show joins us. And once again, we will sit and spin. And today we get under your skin with the 10 most annoying songs of all times. Cool. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, bedroom shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. Click, clack. Drinking and drunk. All right, here we go. George Man is pulled over after doing 143 miles per hour in a 65 zone. Meanwhile, a Florida man takes off his clothes at the old RV park, and his junk stick was shown. Men beat Guinness record by making a bicycle that is 25 feet high. Not good when your ex-girlfriend causes one of your relatives to die, and a drug dealer tries to swim his way to freedom and fails. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, anyone who is roughly my age can attest to this, but when I was growing up, TV had everyone convinced that they were at great risk of being swallowed up by quicksand. The Dukes of Hazzard, Fantasy Island, Gilligan's Island, The Fall Guy. the $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman, the Incredible Hulk, you name it. If it was a TV show, there was an episode that featured quicksand. And while it made people paranoid, I never, one time, heard of a person ever sinking into quicksand. Until today. Congratulations to a woman in Maine who was walking on the beach and actually sunk in quicksand. Now, she survived, which allows me to admit openly that I'm kind of happy to hear that someone actually sunk in frickin' quicksand. I've been hearing about this crap. Now, she said there was no warning. She was walking, and then she was sinking. And that begs the question, would you want to know in advance that a world of trouble is coming your way? A teen in Texas was swimming at a beach, and someone there said that there was, quote, something in the water. Well, that something turned out to be a shark. And yes, it attacked her. And she knew it was attacking her when she looked down at her hand, and it was attached to it. Meanwhile, up in Canada, a woman assumed that the noises that she heard in her house were the result of her 9-year-old daughter and her friend who were having a sleepover. Well, when she saw that they were both asleep, it occurred to her that the noises were the result of the bear that tore about her house for the next 30 minutes while she hid, locked away in a room with her daughter, her daughter's friend, and her dog. Now, luckily, everyone in all of these scenarios survived, but there was a moment where they weren't so sure that that was going to be the outcome. And we've all been there. And that's what today's question is. We want to know, what was the first moment you knew that you were in trouble? To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but Charles, away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4121. What a large and in charge program we have for you today, as Taryn Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show will join us. And once again, we will sit and spin. And today, we annoy the living hell out of you. More so than usual. With the 10 most annoying songs of all times. I thought it was some of the songs. Think of some of the songs that you hate in your life. I know you hate Poison, Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
I hate every song from Poison. I just happen to hate that one the most.
Okay. That is not a universally hated song.
Mambo number 5.
Okay, that is a universally hated song. Mm-hmm. So there's a very fine line between a song that you think sucks and a song that everybody hates. I mean, I used to hate, what the hell was it? Oh, that Crash Test Dummy song drove me nuts. Song. I was like, what is this crap, right? But other people liked it. I was like,
yep. It was massive.
This is terrible. I mean, they loved it. You never know what someone's going to like and what they don't like, but this is universally the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Were they all hits at some point? That always seems to be the irony of it. You know, this was the worst. Like, again, back to Every Rose Has its Thorn. Hate the song. It's their biggest song. Ted, You Hate Mambo, number 5. Huge. Name another song from Lou frickin' Bega, right? But it sold exceptionally well.
Right. Yeah. There are songs that make you feel good, that pick you up, and you're like, yeah, man, this is my jam.
Rocky theme.
Now,
Walking on Sunshine.
Sure, right. And that's a happy song, Walking on Sunshine. But when you talk about traditional happy songs, they're the ones you want to punch in the face.
Always.
They're the ones. Shiny Happy People from REM. Not a good song. REM, pretty good band.
But it makes you angry.
That's a terrible. Don't Worry, Be Happy. Okay. Catchy tune. I can't stand it.
What about Achy Breaky Heart? Someone here on the text line, they just threw that out there. You know, it made them feel better to get it off.
That song doesn't bother me.
Really?
No, not at all.
I agree with the text. That is a stupid ass song.
It is, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm with Miles. I can listen to that one.
Of course. I mean, I'll start bouncing up.
Miles and I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know for a fact if I hate a song, Ted likes it. That just seems like this is the worst crap I've ever heard. Ted's like, I like this.
Yeah.
It's almost every time.
So we have the 10 most annoying songs of all times coming up with Taryn, as we will sit and spin. Also, some updated locations on the Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to try the beer, please do so. It's in most Safeway convenience stores. I know that Hagen has it as well.
There's a lot of it in my belly right now.
Some is going to slowly trickle into QFC, from what we're understanding.
Nice.
Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and maybe you'll be able to find it on tap somewhere. We do have a list at KISW.com. Mike's been working his ass off on that. So if you're looking for a location, hopefully we can find the closest one to you at KISW.com. There's a Black Raven Men's Room IPA banner. Click on it, scroll down a little bit. You'll see, okay, here's the list of where all the stores that we have so far. But continue to send those in to us to the Men's Room at KISW.com. We appreciate the pictures. Got to let us know how the displays look, where the beer's located, and all that.
I never thought I cared until the pictures came in. So some places I'm like, they could really do better. Other places I'm like, holy hell, that's awesome.
I did it on Sunday. I was telling Miles, I had a friend. He doesn't live in the country anymore, right? But he was in town with his wife, who's Colombian, like from Colombia. So we're sitting at our spot. I got a couple Men's Room, and she even commented,
I thought you got Bodie.
Well, I ordered Bodie like out of reflex, right? But even she was like, "I don't like beer. I hate IPA." She was like, "I like this one." So we got. I did the same thing. Like, I'm taking pictures at the bar. Like, oh look, she likes it,
and the beer's on tap there. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's on tap at Petoskey's in Fremont if you happen to be down there. Mike's
nice.
Chili Parlor in Ballard. I'm thinking about the closest ones to where I live. So if you want to get a nice cold draft, it's great in can. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about a draft beer that just hits me a little bit different. I've always been a draft beer guy. So those are two locations that I know of. When you send those pictures in, Mike will send you a note back. Do you mind if we post this to our social media accounts so we can spread the word out there? If you follow KISW, and you'll find more locations to find a beer. And today on the question, we're going to talk about that moment where you go, oh no, this is not a good situation.
Yep.
And obviously, you never plan for these situations. It's not something where you put yourself in that kind of predicament. Mm-hmm. You know the dangers sometimes of what could possibly happen.
Sure, but anything can happen anytime.
At any time when you're doing anything. Like taking a stroll on the beach. Now, Ted, I know that you were just up in the Northeast not too long ago, and this takes place in Maine. Now, when I think of back in the day in quicksand, it was always in the jungle, I want to say. It's almost like the quicksand.
A lot of it was jungle.
It was like tropical, more so than it was.
It was always somewhere wet. Maine is not the place that would come to mind.
No.
Maine is definitely not.
A couple was, they were taking a stroll on the beach, all right? Jamie Accord. She was almost swallowed alive by quicksand while recently walking on the beach in Maine. Fortunately, she was walking with her husband. Literally, it was kind of like I just dropped into a manhole cover. We're walking along, we're talking, all of a sudden, I went into the sand. So what did she do next? Did she panic? Because most people would have. It was kind of one of those moments where I didn't really know what to do. This is a new thing, and this has never happened to me before, and I go to that beach all the time. Thankfully, her husband was able to pull her out. She only had minor injuries. And as soon as he pulled me out, we turned around to look to see what had occurred because we just assumed I'd fallen into an actual hole.
Right.
But there was nothing there. It just looked like the same beach. It had filled itself right back in, which makes it even more dangerous for the next person strolling along.
Yeah, I mean, post something. If you've ever been to Maine, you know that you could walk for a mile on the beach.
and it would not be typical for you not to run into anybody.
Right, for sure.
It's very similar to the southern coast of Oregon. You could go for days, and the only thing that you'll see is maybe a couple trucks passing you on the beach. That's about it. Maine's pretty well the same deal. But quicksand. Never thought I'd be reading about that.
Actually, we have a text here from Terry in Tacoma. It says, about 30 years ago, I got trapped in quicksand here in Washington. My dad and his buddy took my sister and I camping down by the saltwater. I was about 5 at the time and went for a walk alone, fell into quicksand, instantly thought of the stuck horse from the movie The Never Ending Story, which is probably not the visual you want going through your head when you're actually trapped. By the way, Never Ending Story, misnomer. It's an 87-minute movie, just saying. But anyway, Dad heard my screams and came to pull me out.
That is insane.
I've never known anyone to fall into quicksand.
I thought it was fake.
Look, man.
It was a thing back in the day, man.
In the 70s.
I know, I feel like the 18, there was always quicksand. I remember
always.
It, but I'm pretty sure we had looked it up and it was fake.
Okay.
It's a real thing. I just never knew anyone who actually got trapped in it.
But the thing is, every single show that was a show took that as a plot line.
Absolutely.
It did not matter what the show was. So, Batman and Robin, episode with the Riddler, Batman and Robin sink into quicksand. Another episode has Batgirl thrown into a vat of caviar that was like quicksand. Dukes of Hazzard. While running through the woods, Daisy Duke falls into quicksand, gets rescued by her brothers. Fantasy Island. One plot has a man who wants to find out about his father. This lands him in an island prison. He escapes with a guy who he believes killed his father. That guy falls into a very realistic, thick, gray quicksand and is rescued by the man and his wife as Mr. Rourke shows up at the last minute.
Of course.
Get Smart. At the end of an episode where they have a giant magnet on an island, a bad guy goes after Max and Agent 99. The bad guy falls into quicksand. He is knee deep, then waist deep, then chest deep, then shoulder deep before they decide to pull him out. But they did not want to because he was actually going after them. Gilligan's Island, an episode with headhunters involved, where Marianne and Ginger are up to their necks in quicksand. This episode does not show up in the official guide to Gilligan's Island because they subtly got rid of it with the theme of the headhunters because they weren't politically correct at the time.
Are headhunters cool now?
At the time, they said, we're not putting this on the air.
Because of the headhunters?
Because of the headhunters. They ran it once, but they never ran it again in syndication.
Did people freak out about it or something?
I guess there was some backlash. The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Bill Bixby and the girl he's protecting step into quicksand.
Of course.
He turns into the Hulk and helps get her out. But when he turns into the Hulk, he can't get himself out. So they have to help pull him out with the help of dogs.
I thought he could only be the Hulk when he's angry.
He was angry, but he still couldn't get out of the quicksand.
Stress, okay.
Right? Yes.
So you're telling me they had to get dogs to pull the Hulk out of quicksand?
That is correct. There's an episode of Jag. A female Marine recruit at boot camp falls into quicksand. $6 Million Man. Girl needs her scientist father, rescued from evil types in the Everglades. On the way in, Steve rescues her from some watery quicksand as she is up to her neck. Bionic Woman. After plunging in and pulling herself out, she pulls the same trick as above on the prison guards that were pursuing her, and they fall into the quicksand after she got out. So she's like, come and get me. Then they
fall in shape, bionics her way up.
And, of course, the Fall Guy. This is the second one with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hunting for treasure in the Everglades, Heather Thomas falls into quicksand, only to be rescued.
Why is it always women that fall into quicksand?
Because they need help. I mean, that's the idea, I think, of the show.
I mean,
I'm not saying all women need help. Yeah, but it's like,
this woman in Maine.
Lady in the... Oh, yeah, that's a real life woman.
Just saying.
Maybe they don't look down when they're walking through
Ladies,
sand.
You don't see it.
Look where you're walking.
That's the thing with quicksand. It does not look like there's any water underneath.
Yeah, I'm going to go with she was on her phone.
Yeah, it's these ladies. You notice the theme there?
Yeah,
there's
ladies. No dudes falling into quicksand.
Except one evil guy.
Or maybe quicksand is sexist.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's what it is.
Robin fell in. What was the first moment you knew you were in trouble? 206-803 Rob.
It's not
Does
helping.
anyone honestly like Robin?
I mean, I do. He helps out.
Would you like Robin if he wasn't with Batman?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no just Robin episodes, right? Or there's not just a Robin movie.
Did you guys see the video of the bare knuckle fighting that involves Batman and Robin taking on Spider-Man?
No.
Bare knuckle fighting?
Bare knuckle fighting, but they're dressed up as Batman and Robin, and then Spider-Man's going to fight them both, right?
Is this a real thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Robin's a smaller dude.
Yeah.
Batman, decent size. Spider-Man is just kick-ass, right? So I think they knew that, like, he was probably going to beat the living crap out of them both. He just beats the living ass out of Robin, man. It's
how does Batman do?
Batman kind of holds his own, but Robin, man, because when Batman's going after Spider-Man, Robin tries to jump in, like sucker punch him and rabbit punch him in the back, and this guy just backslaps him out of the way. I mean, it's exactly what you expect with Robin.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, even Robin in the ring can't fight. I mean, it was just like, dude, you got to help out your buddy because it's supposed to be 2-on-1.
He's the worst sidekick.
Robin's not
I'm
doing
sorry.
crap. Even
You don't know anything.
Does any other superhero even have a sidekick?
I mean, some of the animated ones, I know Superman had like a dog. Was it Superman with a dog? Now, Batman had a dog as well. He probably did better than Robin. I don't know.
Well, Batman kind of is always on the look, right? He had Batgirl?
He had Batgirl, but I don't think she really worked with him. She kind of like stole his idea, but was female. You know what I mean? That's like Robin, they actually pal around. Batgirl just kind of shows up, but they don't really hang out, as far as I understand. No, he's the only one.
Oh, it's an MMA fight. Sorry, man. It wasn't bare knuckles boxing. It's MMA.
Either way.
What was the first moment that you knew you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Michelle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hola.
Hola.
So when did you know you were in trouble?
So you guys were just talking about quicksand and how nobody thinks it's real.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it is very real. And it's right here in Washington State. And I fell in some in Auburn jogging one time. And I thought I was okay to cross over this mud that they dug up by the river. And it just kind of sucked me in and caught my boots. And I had to untie my boots in order to get out and climb up this little hill. It's crazy that people don't believe in it, but it is.
Now, did you?
Now, is that quicksand or
is it
just
a bog?
mud?
Is it a bog?
Yeah.
Is it? So there's a difference. Like if you go to Anchorage, there's a bay where the tides come in and come out. A lot of people will walk out there or try to attempt to walk out there.
Yeah.
And they sink down to their knees or their waist, and then the tide comes in and they can't pull them out.
Right.
Is that a form of quicksand? I don't know. It's silty mud in a riverbed.
I mean, I've done that before up in Warm Beach, right? The tide goes out really far, and you're right. It's very hard, and then you got to. I mean, I basically had to just float in like a foot of water to try to get out of it. But I wouldn't count that as quicksand.
Well, how long were you stuck there, Michelle?
Probably for a good 10 minutes. I actually started to panic because my boots were like, I really was sinking in it.
Well, yeah, and who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if it was quicksand here. Again, it's like Bigfoot to me. I'll keep reading about it, but until I see a picture, I don't know that. I don't know that I'm going to be on the lookout for it. How's that?
Well, I don't think anyone's on the lookout for it. But how are you on the lookout for quicksand? Because the thing about quicksand is that visually it just looks like the rest of the beach, right? I mean, the only way to know there's quicksand is, there's Michelle who's struggling up to her waist. How deep did you go?
I went up to my knees.
Up to the knees?
Up to the knees.
Okay. And you said it took like 20 minutes to get out?
It was about 15, 20 minutes to struggle, and then I wound up losing my boots to the sand.
Well,
it sucked them down in.
Yeah. Did you think you were going to die, or were you just like, okay, this is going to just take forever to get out?
It was pretty scary. I was by myself, and I mean, it was scary. I got home and I was muddy and no shoes on, and my husband's like, "What happened?" And I said, "Well, I almost died."
In quicksand.
Yes, jogging in boots.
I'm so confused by the story.
I am too.
You were jogging, but you were wearing boots.
It was, it was a rainy day, and I actually had mucklucks on, like these heavy boots and jeans, but I managed to get the boots off. Yes, I was jogging in boots and jeans.
You got to get down to Brooks and Fremont. They're going to hook you up with a really nice pair of running shoes
and boots.
I think
and jeans.
Make your life a hell of a lot better. Maybe they'll sell you some shorts and some footy socks. It's much more comfortable.
It sounds like somebody was out for a walk and went down to the river and got caught in mud.
Yeah,
that is what. But she said jogging.
She said she was out for a run, and then she said she was in boots, and now she's running in jeans and boots. Like, what's going on in Auburn?
I've only seen that one time.
Yeah, like that's a little too country.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. Parents can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and more. Plus, keep an eye on spending with real-time notifications. Join more than 6 million families building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey. That's greenlight.com/Odyssey.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
If the last few years have taught us anything, it's that human connection means the world. By connecting with one another, we know we're not alone. By connecting, we feel what others feel. We breathe better, laugh easier, and feel healthier. At Regents, connection is at the heart of everything we do. It inspires our commitment to our communities and to you. Here, health isn't just a you thing, it's a we thing. Regents Blue Shield. Together we health.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Now, you think this couple, I don't know, maybe knew that it was a possibility for something bad to happen, but no, they didn't. A young couple named Alex and Lydia just got married in Utah.
Oh, congratulations.
Lydia was not exactly in tip-top shape thanks to a very dumb mattress moving mistake they made a day earlier. They were moving into a new place, wanted to get their mattress there before their wedding night. So Alex, he tossed that mattress in the back of his truck. Told Lydia, just lie on it, help weigh it down. He was doing 50 miles an hour when the mattress flew out of the truck, with Lydia still on top. She ended up with some serious road rash. Her arms and face got scraped up. Keep in mind, this is the day before her wedding.
Yes, yes.
She broke her 2 front teeth.
Ooh.
Then once she stopped skidding across the pavement, she had to get up and dodge traffic. All in all, she says she's lucky to be alive. And despite the injuries, they went through with her wedding the next day. This happened back in April, but they just told the story because last Thursday was National Secure Your Load Day, meant to encourage people to be more careful in transporting stuff. Like maybe using a rope or some bungee cords next time.
Not your fiance. I will say this, rarely do I want to see anyone's wedding photos. Like, I get it. I don't need to see the picture. I want to see her photos.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Terry. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, caca.
Hola.
So, about 10 years ago, it was 10 o'clock at night, raining, heading northbound on I-5. And I had a semi change lanes into me. And he hit the left quarter on my car, which spun me out in front of him. And then he T-boned me.
Jeez.
And in the impact of me getting hit, I cranked the wheel to the left, which made me run down the driver's side of his semi. And when our tires hit, it launched me across 4 lanes of I-5 onto the shoulder, and miraculously, I did not get hit by another car.
Did at any point while this is happening, did you scream yeehaw?
No, I let go of the wheel and covered my head, and I just was praying for the best. I figured I was going to die.
Do you remember the whole thing?
Yes.
Did you go across the lanes of the opposite traffic? The traffic coming the other way?
I was on I-5.
Right,
no,
so there's northbound and southbound traffic. You're headed north. Did you go into the southbound lanes?
No.
Okay,
there's a median in between and different sides of the freeway, but I got spun around, so I'm heading southbound, sliding across all the lanes to the shoulder on the opposite side.
Gotcha.
Jesus.
Okay.
And
yeah, it was ugly.
Now, having been in a wreck myself when we were doing the auto racing up at Monroe Speedway, I remember everything I saw out of the windshield, and none of it was good. And in your head, this whole thing lasts like 20 minutes. But the truth is, this probably took, 5 to 10 seconds for all of this to go down?
Yes.
So what is the first thing you saw? What was the first time where you knew this is it. Like that, something bad's about to happen. Like you see the truck changing lanes. You remember him hitting the actual vehicle?
Yeah, I was getting by him because I'm just like, oh, God, he's changing lanes. And I know you're not supposed to be in their blind spot.
Yeah.
So I just barely got in front of him, and he didn't see me. I'm in a little car, and then he just kind of bumped a pass kind of thing and spun me out. And
did he stop?
Ended up having, yes, he did.
He did stop. Okay. Did your airbag deploy?
No.
It did not. Okay.
I see. So you were speeding up, and then he changed lanes and clipped you like a pit maneuver.
Yes.
And then you rolled in front of his truck, so he hits you again, knocks you to his left, then your tires meet, and when your tires met, that's when it basically shot you off. What are you thinking when you basically go airborne across, 4 lanes of traffic?
Words cannot be used on the radio, but yeah,
Okay.
I really didn't
Correct.
think I was going to make it.
I'm trying to put my feet in the shoes of the truck driver, so to speak. And yes, I've seen what I've done. I watched this whole thing happen, and then I run up to you, and I run up to the window and I go, "Sorry."
Yeah.
What do you say to someone after you do that to them? Are
Actually never
you okay?
came over to me.
He did not.
No, he was on the other side of the freeway for me, and it would have been too dangerous for me to cross over.
All right, fair
So
enough.
people driving by, they pulled over and were like flagging people around me. And they were asking me if I'm okay. And I ended up basically getting squished between the B pillar of the car, which is the pillar between the front and the rear door glass on one side of the vehicle, and the console. So my seat basically kind of like wrapped around me. And they said if I had been a bigger person, I wouldn't have made it. I was really close to having one of the ribs puncture in my lung. My liver. My liver.
Oh, Jesus. So what was the totality of your injuries at the end of this?
3 broken ribs.
3 broken ribs. All right. And how weird was it for you to get behind the wheel of a car again?
It was really hard. It took me months to basically feel well enough to want to drive. And then, of course, I was scared beyond belief to be near a semi, and you just kind of got to get over your fear and just do it.
Yeah.
I was going to die at some point. It just wasn't my time.
Well, and look, anybody that drives, every time you go by a semi, you think about that stuff.
You do.
So
Every
I'm with you.
single time.
That must have been terrifying to get on I-5.
When you get into a wreck, you drive the speed limit for 6 months. It's
right.
It's weird. Not that I don't do that now. I'm just saying, like, right after a accident, you drive. So I did see a video today.
Look, I don't speed a lot, or whatever. Like, I drive like an old man. But even Friday night, just driving down to Portland, like, I had a semi cut me off. Same thing. You're just kind of you see the blinker go on. I was smart enough to just be like, I'm going to slow down.
Let him do his
he
thing.
barely missed me. I was like, Jesus.
Saw a video today of what happens. You've seen that?
I didn't see the video. I know what you're talking about.
You've seen that girlfriend who likes to sit in the passenger seat and put her feet up on top of the dashboard,
which you're not supposed to do.
Well, I saw what happens when an airbag deploys when you do that.
What exactly happens?
You don't have one rib intact in your entire rib cage.
So just blast your knees into your ribs?
Your legs basically just go straight back, and you maybe even break a collarbone. I mean, basically, it's just going to throw your legs through your body.
God.
So whatever stops that. Your face, your head, your nose, your collarbone, your ribs. You don't want to be in that situation.
Unless you ride with our caller there, because apparently her airbags don't need to deploy.
Well, I just don't want people putting their bare feet on my dashboard, period. But, don't do that.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Cliff. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. Hola.
Hola.
Okay, so I was going with my family. I was about 10 years old for Thanksgiving to my grandfather's in Indianapolis. We had taken off from LAX, and then we got a call from the cockpit that we were going to land at LAX. So we took a left turn over the ocean, and then we got back over LA, and we took a left turn, and I could look down the wing at the LA Forum, and we landed on the ground within 15 minutes. And then we found out later that there was a bomb scare called in.
Oh, wow.
Like on your plane?
Yeah, someone had called in a bomb on our plane and said, this plane taking off has got a bomb on it. And so they had us land as soon as we could. And they took us out to the farthest end of an empty runway where we sat for about 2 hours until they could get some buses.
Wait, you're still sitting on the plane?
We were on the plane for about 5 minutes. We landed, got to a safe spot, and then they deployed the slides to go down.
Ooh, how was that, man?
Yeah, was that
Sorry,
fun?
I mean, I know it's a scary moment, but still.
No. That takes the fun, it puts the fun back into the problem.
Right.
Oh, I was 10. I had a blast.
Okay. Yeah, that's the right age for that, man. How long do they wait to tell you that, oh, hey, by the way, we did this because someone called in a bomb threat?
I don't think I remember. They got some buses out there, and they got us back to an empty terminal. So, an hour and a half, 2 hours later, that was kind of the information that we got, was that that's apparently what had happened.
Well, it's fun to get you off there, but they still have to go back and get all your luggage and everything else off of that aircraft.
Assuming it doesn't explode. How far away from the plane did they make you go? After you go down the slide, how far away?
They didn't have the buses yet, but they they said go that way, about 100 yards, 200 yards, as far as they could reasonably get the crowd, because they had 200-some people to get off the plane.
Okay. That's why you need to
I
travel.
feel like that's a safe. Say there is a bomb on the plane's on the ground, I'm 200 yards away. Think about all the fuel, this plane blows up. 200 yards is a safe distance, but I still feel
I don't think it is safe. I think it's just they need you away from the plane.
Right. I mean, it's better.
It's safer. But also, I mean, it's LAX. There's so many planes. Like, if there's no buses there, I don't know what you do with those people.
You see somebody carrying a potato sack on an airplane as a carry-on, they're ready for that slide.
Yeah. The potato sack.
This guy's ready. Just in case.
Why don't they put that under your seat? You got the life vest, you got all this stuff, and in the event that we have to go down the slide, we have included potato sacks.
See, I know you have this fantasy about going down that slide.
Yes.
But I also know you and have you travel. Are you willing to trade hours of a flight going back to the airport and everything else to get on the slide?
If I go down the slide, yes.
All right, because that's my issue.
Yes.
I'm sure going down the slide will be fun for a few seconds, but just something has gone terribly wrong, and now I'm hours late.
But I'm with Miles. I would be willing to do it just for the slide. Not because you want to be in imminent danger, but look, we've all had flights where there ain't a damn thing wrong with the plane. Nobody's called in a threat, and you get delayed, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks, and it's agonizing. If they said, look, we apologize, your flight's been delayed 3 hours, right? Everyone's like, oh, but, in the meantime, if you want to go to this room, we have one of these slides that's deployed.
My plane was delayed 2.5 hours in Memorial Day. If we'd have been up in the air and turned around, I got to go down the slide.
And you had no slide.
No. I might even video it.
I mean, that's a good point. When I tried to get from D.C. up to Boston, we sat on the tarmac for 2.5 hours.
Right.
Never landed in Boston, landed in Providence, Rhode Island, sat on the tarmac for another 2 hours. I guess if I had gone down the slide, it would have made it better.
Would you trade that in for the slide?
No,
that's too long.
I would have rather gone.
No, but you still had to wait all that time. So I'm just saying, would it have been better?
It would have been better, but I still wouldn't trade the time lost just to use the slide once.
Okay.
You could they have bouncy houses with slides. Kick some kids out of the way.
But it's not as long. It's not as tall. And you just slide down on a runway.
Even if you go to Maple Leaf, right? My kids are real little, and you take them there every freaking day, but they want you to go down the slide. I'm 6'4", man. So even when I'm sitting there, I mean, my ride lasts about a second and a half.
Yeah. But then when I hit the ground, I'm going to start running in a circle, screaming, ah!
I would trade a delayed flight for the chance to go down the slide. And I don't know how long it takes them to put the thing in, but if they said, look, the flight's delayed, we're stuck on the runway for a while, but for those of you, we still don't do beverage service, which pisses people off, starting to get hot, air conditioning's turned off. For those of you that would like to go down the slide, we're going to offer you that opportunity.
I'm going to grab on the side straps and try to go up one more time. Just give me one more run,
Sir, it's for your own safety. Yeah, I don't care.
I want to do it again.
The lamest thing it could be for is a raft. That means you landed in the ocean, and now you're just floating in it. You didn't have a chance to get a slide down,
Right, it's not even a slide anymore.
It's just a raft. Now it's boring. What was the first moment that you knew you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
And it's probably dark.
You're in the ocean.
Well, you got to crash tonight, Ted. Why's got to be a night crash in the ocean?
I just feel like if you land in water, and it's going to be at night, it's going to be horrible.
That's going to be the most terrifying thing on Earth.
Yeah.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So for me, it was coming back from Padre Island and had a Suzuki Samurai, had the top off, a friend in the back, a friend next to me. And at one point in time, we're all asleep, and I'm driving, and I wake up in the middle of a grass median doing about 70 miles an hour.
Okay.
So you fell asleep, too?
Yes, unfortunately, I sure did.
That doesn't seem like the most sturdy vehicle to be doing 70 through a field in.
No, and the only thing that rolls better is a ball. So, so when I woke up, the car's jumping around and bouncing, and the guy next to me looks at me with terror in his eyes, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't want to slam on the brakes. I want to gently tap the brakes and slow down, which I did. I started slowing down, and then I turned the wheel to get back onto the highway, and that's when it slid around. And when it hit the wheels hit the concrete, it launched us. And we, according to the cops, they think we rolled over side over side twice and end over end once.
Damn! I'm assuming everybody had their seatbelt on.
Nobody had their seatbelt on.
So nobody was ejected from that car?
So here's how we think it happened. Oh, also we had 4 tanks of oxygen in there because we went to go scuba diving.
Wow, you're lucky. You're lucky.
It's like Final Destination, but it's screwed up.
There's a reason you don't see that car on the road anymore, period. Not one has made it this long.
Right, exactly. Well, we think the reason we stayed in was we just got lucky with how everybody was situated. The guy next to me is pretty tall, so he put his arms out on either side of the car and just basically braced himself. My buddy in the back, I didn't have a back seat, and so it was just the open seat. He was back there with the luggage and the oxygen tank, but above it, for whatever reason, even though we were in Texas, when I bought it, it had a ski rack. And so the guy in the back weighed literally 465 pounds. So I think that ski rack kept him in because he said he just bounced in between the ski rack and the back seat. And for me, I held onto the steering wheel, and every time we rolled, my head, I could feel it, my head and shoulder hit the pavement. However,
Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't have a bump on my head. And 45 minutes later, when the ambulance finally arrived, I didn't realize they even had a scrape on my shoulder until they started doctoring me up.
Well, they had to tell you guys it was a miracle that any of you survived.
Always.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was insane. And like I said, too, when I got out, I heard something hissing, and I was like, what is that? And I ran out in the street, and it was one of the oxygen tanks. I guess the lid had just come unscrewed. But, yeah, we got really lucky. Really lucky.
Well, it's better than a rattlesnake, I guess.
Good Lord, man.
Unless it explodes.
I'm guessing you have worn your seatbelts every time since then.
Oh, yeah. And that was, I had actually, and I called you guys and told you this story once. I flipped my mom's truck, too, when I was 15, the night before her wedding. And so this was the second vehicle I had flipped by the time I was 18.
Have you ever just had an accident where you don't flip it?
I haven't had anything super horrible since then, but yes, I have. But I'm 50 now, so hopefully I've outgrown flipping things.
Yeah. Well, hey, just this past year, I rented a Jeep, right? Jeeps have kind of tighter wheel bases on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going 65. I'm going 65 miles an hour on 10 in California, and the death wobbles start on this thing. And I swear to God, I thought I was going to launch that Jeep into the air and just start doing a death roll.
Really?
Yes. At 54 years old. I mean, I was like, what is going on with this car? And then I kind of slowed it down, and the death wobble got worse. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me, Enterprise. What the hell? All I wanted was just a mid-size SUV.
Enterprise gave us a Jeep
those things
Liberty
suck.
or something like that. We were in
Jeez,
Delaware, and we're driving the kids to the freaking beach where we're going again this goddamn year. Anyway, it's 95 degrees outside, and there are 3 different vehicles headed to the beach, and my wife's driving, and so she just pulls over to the shoulder of the road, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm getting us out of the way so we don't die. The car just stopped working. Like, the accelerator, It just started decelerating. It didn't matter. And then the car kind of shut down, and it was not an all-electric vehicle, but everything that was electric in the vehicle just blinked out. So keep in mind, 95 degrees outside. We now have no air conditioning. It's super hot. And there's not a lot of shoulder there. And this is a very, very busy stretch in the U.S. highway system. So I get out of the car. I'm pissed. I kind of disappear into the trees, cuss my face off, walk back. The kids are looking at me, and they're like, Dad, are you all right? I was like, I stubbed my toe. Now, they knew I was lying, but I didn't. I'm just like, don't. So then we had to call her parents, who were ahead of us, to turn around, come back and get the kids so they don't just melt and die out there. And then we're waiting we're calling Enterprise, right? And here's the thing. Where we were at the next exit, we could see the sign for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Oh.
It's not the one we rented the car from, but as it turns out, there's another one. They're like McDonald's. They're freaking everywhere. So we call them, and they're like, yeah, we can't come and get you. And we're like, listen, man, we're maybe a mile and a half away from you, but we are stuck on the highway. Your whole thing is we'll come and pick you up. That's BS. It's your car. We waited there 3.5 hours. They finally sent a tow truck driver. They didn't. We had called a tow truck driver, AAA. And this big dude, big dude, massive belly. Well, real nice guy. And he's like, my friends, what do they say? Oh, my friends call me Slim. I said, your friends are goddamn liars. We both had a good chuckle about that. He was not Slim. So we explained our situation to him, and credit to this guy. He's like, you know what? F Enterprise, man. So he tows the car. We ride in the cab over to Enterprise with him, and he intentionally parks in such a way that he blocks their entire parking lot. You cannot get in or out. So the manager comes out like, oh, you can't park there. He said, I'm not just parking here. I'm dropping the car off here. You need to help out this couple right here. So suddenly, Enterprise got their act together. We got a new vehicle. But, yeah, and long story short, don't rent a Jeep. That's the point of this entire story. Do not rent a Jeep. Yeah, do not do it. I don't know what the hell goes on
with
with
that
them.
lady in my car. What do they give me? They gave me a Jeep.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh no.
Like, I like Jeeps.
Not again.
But man, I don't know what it is. If you rent one, don't trust it.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
My neighbor Ned brags a lot about his smart home. So I showed him my ecobee smart home. Turns out ecobee's a lot smarter. So tell the Ned on your block about ecobee. Just yell, get yourself a smarter home. Visit ecobee.com today.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
California kite surfer who found himself stranded on a narrow stretch of beach between a rising ocean and towering cliffs was rescued this past Sunday after using nearby rocks to spell out the word help on the beach.
All right.
Man became trapped on Davenport Landing Beach, northwest of Santa Cruz. Amid challenging weather, with little on the beach to assist him, the man made use of what he could. He was lucky the pilot of a private helicopter happened to spot his message and called 911. The man who was trapped for hours had to wait in suspense, unsure that his thumbs up at the helicopter had conveyed the seriousness of the situation. Dude, just hanging 10. Lifeguards and California State Parks officials were soon able to swim to the beach and make contact with the man. He did not require medical attention. A helicopter then arrived and hoisted the kite surfer to the cliff some 200 feet above, where firefighters were waiting.
Did he still have his kite surfing? Years ago, man, we were in school, and it was one of those weird things where you're teaching kids about situations they'll unlikely be in, but they gave us a list of things that we had, and I believe we were trapped in the desert was the scenario, but we had like a parachute, salt, all these different things. But they said the single most important thing of the stuff we had, they said the parachute. And we're like, the hell are you talking about? They said, look, because if you have a big-ass parachute in the middle of the desert and you stretch that thing apart, anyone who's looking for you from above will know where you're at.
It makes sense.
So I'm just, right. And I've always remembered that. Never been in that situation, but I was just wondering if the kite surfer, would it have made more sense to stretch out the... I don't know. I guess help works just as much. By the way, Miles, we have a text here. You were talking about the airport slides, airplane slides.
Yes.
I remember like, man, well, how long does it take them to reattach it? Someone here says, we were at the airport for the day, maybe 12 hours, until they could ship in a new slide to install. Then flew on the same plane to Indianapolis.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's drunk Miles after 12 hours in the bar.
That is not 12 hours.
Finally
that
leaving.
is a long time.
I don't care who you are, man. Yeah, that's a long time.
And you're flying to Indianapolis.
Right, your payoff is to go to the
here we are. Ooh, ooh.
Gracious.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ellen. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
So I'm actually coming up on the anniversary of what happened. It's going to be 4 years. And a couple weeks earlier, my husband and I had just moved out to an area outside of Belfair, like kind of Cahuilla Forest. And so we went for a walk to kind of cruise the neighborhood, and we were checking out the property next door, which is vacant and used to be part of the part that we bought. So we were just walking around, and I feel a really bad sting in my left ear. And I've been stung before, and this was not the same thing. This was, I instantly got really dizzy, actually spun around and sat down really hard. And so we booked it back to our yurt, and it was maybe like a minute and a half or 2 minutes when we got in there. And I just started feeling hot and itchy all over. I was like, ripping my clothes off. Like, I was just like, what is happening? And we start talking about whether or not we should go to the hospital. And a couple minutes after that, my husband just looks at me and he's like, yeah, let's get going. And while we were in the car, my face just started feeling very, very strange. So I pulled up my phone so I could take a look, and my Face ID didn't recognize me.
Oh, damn.
And so I got it opened up, and my face was so swollen. Like, I can't even describe how, like, my entire face, my eyes were swelling shut. My lips were about 3 times the size as normal. And it was freaky. And also because of where we're about 45 minutes from the nearest emergency room. But my husband shaved about 15 minutes off of that.
I was going to say,
did he tell you that you looked like ass? Or did he?
No, he was very calm about it, and he was just like, okay, yeah, let's hop in the truck and let's head out.
So looking back, you do realize he took one look at your big bloated head and
You
said,
don't know that.
"Oh,
He might have. He was like, hey man, maybe you should get some collagen in those lips. You look pretty good." Did you find out what bit?
Don't make the lips go away.
What did you find out? What stung you?
It was a yellow jacket.
It was. It was just where it happened to sting you, the way it affected you, I guess.
Well, and I think too, because I had been stung about a week and a half before while I was like clearing blackberry brush, and so I researched and found out there's a thing. I think it was biphasic anaphylaxis. So sort of like, because I think there was still some of the prior bite kind of in my system.
So what does that kind of activate the venom that was already there?
Yeah.
All right. So what can the emergency room do?
So they gave me epinephrine and steroids. And that was the first time I went in because they sent me home that night. And the doctor on duty asked my husband, does she normally look like this?
Damn, man. Was he offended? Like, what? Look, you might not find my wife attractive, but hell no.
You should have seen her 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so they gave me the option whether to stay or go, and I was like, well, I'll go home because I don't really want to spend the night in the hospital. And was okay the next day, was still really swollen, and then the following morning, I woke up and I was covered in hives, like head to toe, and I started vomiting. And so I woke my husband up and I was like, dude, we gotta go back to the hospital. And the new doctor, first thing she did was look at my ear, and she's like, the stinger is still in your ear.
Oh.
The first doctor had not thought to like clean my ear and get the stinger out.
You told them you were stung in the ear, right? And they did not bother to look in the place that you said you were stung. Okay.
Yeah, he looked at it, but he didn't even touch it.
Look,
So-
I didn't do a single year of medical school. I think that'd be the first thing I do is look at where the injury occurred, right? So what do they give you when you go in and you're all hivey? And by the way, you sound like you were very, very sexy for your husband during this entire trip.
Yeah. He I think I handled it pretty well. I was pretty nervous, but I don't think I knew like how bad it really could be. But yeah, especially that second time when I all flared up, I was like, let's go. Let's go.
Crazy. Are you look, 'tis the season for the bees to be out, as my kids remind me every freaking day, but are you more paranoid around bees and yellow jackets now, or do you have like a backup plan, or just in case, or is that like a one-time thing?
Yeah, can you carry like an EpiPen type of device?
Yeah. So I always carry my EpiPens, and bees don't bother me. Like, they don't scare me, but yellow jackets, for sure.
Well, yellow jackets have the worst attitude.
Yeah. By the way, a yurt is a bug haven. By the time you got back to where you wanted to be, I mean, I don't know if you know anything about yurts, but bugs love that. They can get in, they can cool off, they can make a home, they can make babies, they can make...
So you do have the EpiPen, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and people do know how to use it, because there's an old joke that says, man, oh man, the last thing I have from my grandfather is this EpiPen, because as he was dying, he really wanted me to have it.
Oh, no, yeah. And more than anything, I know how to use it, and I let people know that, like, people I work with and people that are close to me, like, hey, like, I have my EpiPen here, so, but I've...
Have you used it? Have you used it in the last 4 years since this happened?
The EpiPens? No, I've gotten new ones.
Okay, and how long because they expire, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's about a year or two.
And how much do they cost? Because it sounds like, just based on the American healthcare system, I'll be like, look, babe, my EpiPen's about to run out. I'm going to go outside and intentionally get stung by a freaking bee or whatever it is.
I'm a beekeeper now.
Right. I mean, just
so I can use it.
Just get my money's worth.
It is ridiculous. So actually, when I had just moved to Washington about 6 months prior to when that happened. And so I didn't have insurance in Washington when that happened, and they signed me up for AppleCare on the spot. But when I went to pick up my EpiPens, everything wasn't like fully up and going. So the pharmacist is like, so this is going to be, it was over $400.
Good
for
God,
two EpiPens. And he's like, well, do you still want them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole setup, right? Like, we're going to charge them. All right, man. Well, stay away. Don't eat bananas outside. That's all.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
And you're right. Yellow jackets are brutal. My buddy got stung by one last year in Montana. I don't think he's allergic, but it painful, and it's still swelled up.
I've discovered that I'm the exact opposite, right? So yellow jackets, it hurts because obviously they're breaking your skin, but whatever venom they put in me doesn't have an effect. And I figured the venom was same from bug to bug. And
bee to bee?
Bee to bee, bug to bug, hornet to hornet. I'm like, it's all the same stuff. Well, it's not. Then I get stung by a bee a couple of years later, and my reaction to the bee sting was a lot different. Nothing like her, but it swelled up and it hurt for like 3 or 4 days. Where the yellow jacket, it hurts just in the time they sting you.
Last time I got stung by a bee, he was still like in my hand. He like stung me in the hand, and he was still there. So I like flicked him off and got the stinger out real quick. But it's still
it hurts.
It hurts. Yeah.
Still not enough time. What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Danielle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi.
Hola.
Hola.
So, Danielle, what was the first moment that you knew you were in trouble?
So, it was about 6 years ago. My family and I were on our way home from Eastern Washington. We were going over Snoqualmie Pass. And it was snowy. It was winter. I had this, Chevy Sonic. I pulled over to put chains on our front tires so that we can make it over the pass. My husband and I are outside the car, doing our thing. We're at the chain-up area with all the other cars, and we just finished, and then we're double-checking our work, making sure the chains are secure, and then we both stand up, kind of give each other a thumbs up, like, yeah, we're good. But as my husband is facing me and I'm facing the main highway behind him, it was kind of a surreal moment, but there was an F-150 barreling towards us, and it was, since it was snowy, it felt like quiet but loud at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, this truck lost control, barreled towards us, and ran into my vehicle, and my vehicle ran into me and pushed me into a snowbank. And it hit the back end of my car and then spun out and hit the front end of my car. All the while, my husband is standing right in the middle between both cars, the truck and my car. And then it continues to spin out and hit a car in front of us with this elderly couple in it. And I'm pinned between my car and this snowbank and trying to dig myself out. And I think it all happened within a matter of a few minutes, but it felt like forever, especially when the truck was coming at us.
And you're saying your husband did not get a scrape?
He didn't technically get a scrape, but he says that he remembers falling down. And we don't know exactly at what point when he fell down, but he was kind of shoved into the car because he had an injury on his side. But we walked away with no scrapes.
Wow, man.
Did the guy in the truck?
My wrist was broken because it was really swollen, but it just was like a tendon tear.
Okay.
And no bones broken, nothing.
Did the guy in the truck jump out and ask if you were okay?
Yeah, he was really responsible, and nobody was seriously injured, surprisingly. But he pulled over, made sure, he saw my hand was swelling up, so he got me a little baggie of snow to put on my hand. And I think at one point I noticed my fingers were swelling up, and my wedding ring was still on my hand, and so I had to pull it off before it swelled up around my ring. And when I got to the hospital, they were like, "Oh, you're lucky you pulled your ring off because we would have had to cut it off." And
you know what? Listen, Danielle, they had to find something to tell you you're lucky, right? Anytime you go to the doctor's visit, it doesn't matter what it is. They're going to find something. They're probably right. But still, even if that had not been the scenario, they'd have told you, "Oh, you're lucky, blank."
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Anyone ever been to the doctor in an emergency room situation without them telling you how close you were to things being worse?
With my kid.
Ever.
Yes. Because it wasn't me.
Well, the one giant hematoma I had from sledding down that hill, that street, they didn't say it was going to get worse. I guess they did. The main thing, that one was just weird because people kept coming in, and I was like, "Are you the doctor?" And they were like, "No, Just want to see it. So, like, word had spread that there was, like, this football growing off of me. So, like, people kept coming in. But she did say, when she gave me the painkillers, I guess I cracked a smile or something, and she went, no. It's going to be worse tomorrow. And I go, what? She goes, oh, you're not going to feel the full pain for, like, 2 days.
And she was right.
Correct. It was horrible.
Did you ever get to see the hematoma? Like, did they take a picture so you could see it? Because it's kind of behind you, right?
I mean, it was on my butt. You guys saw. I came into work, and then I went to the hospital.
Oh, that's right. That is the order of things, yes.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Check this out, dudes. I got to go get help.
Well, right. I mean, look, it was one of those deals, right? It was my own mistake, so you feel like an idiot. It must have taken me half an hour to put a sock on because I couldn't even, like, bend over or whatever. And then, right, when I got here and showed it to a couple of people, I think even you guys were like, just, dude, you need to go check that out.
Go to the hospital. Well, that's the problem. It's on your ass. You can't see it. Hello, Jacob. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, so hola.
Hola.
When I was like 12 years old, me and a buddy, we're just like little pyros, and we're in the back of my dad's truck, and he has this big canopy, and it's been sitting in that just fumes of old gas tanks and stuff in the back.
Sure.
And my buddy goes, hey, check this out. And he lights a match. And something told me right before he did that, hey, I'm going to climb outside of this for a second. And I just see a fireball that's like, it's like a miniature mushroom cloud puffing up the back of this thing. And his eyebrows are gone. He's like trying to put the fire out on his hands and knees. And he's like freaking out. And then, so my mom hears all this commotion, and this back of this truck's just blown to hell. And she's like, you're going to have to tell your dad when he gets home.
Which is even scarier than him lighting the match, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the day I remember I started nervously biting my fingernails.
Really? Like, have you broken the habit, or are you still a nail biter?
Yeah, I'm a nail biter. Nervously nail biting.
And that is the moment that it happened?
Yeah.
How many hours did you have to wait for your dad to get home to tell him this great news?
About an hour and a half of just sitting there thinking about it.
How long did it feel?
Well, I mean,
days.
Did it blow the canopy off the truck?
It blew like, no, because we had one end open, so it did have like a barrel to shoot out of, so to speak.
Okay. And your buddy was okay, ultimately?
Yeah, some eyebrows missing, but...
What is your father's reaction when do you tell him before he sees it, or does he see it at the same time that you're speaking?
I tell him before he sees it, and honestly, his reaction was kind of like, yeah, you would be the kid that does that.
Really?
Like, he wasn't,
but it was your buddy. See how to throw my buddy on the bus. Hey, look, man, I was in there. I got out. I'm not an idiot. He blew himself up in the back of the truck. Look, he's my buddy, but that ain't on me.
Man, but a lot of like my dad did not care. It was always guilt by association. Back in the day, he had his whole stereo set up when that was the thing, all the different components, blah blah blah. The only thing my brother and I knew was like, just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Don't even change the radio station.
That was a massive deal. Never touch the radio. Never touch the stereo.
And he's like, look, you each have your own little turntable, your little crappy stereo. Use that. Do not F with my stuff. Cool. So summertime, my buddy Brad's over, and we're downstairs playing in television back when that came out. But anyway, he flipped on the radio and changed the station. And I was like, dude, no. Try to get it back to the same station. We turned it off. Well, my father was home. It's on the weekend. And he didn't say anything.
People should remember, too, these stereos, you got to just use the dial to find the station.
Exactly. So
nothing's digital.
And we hung out for like another 2 hours. I really didn't give it another thought. Brad goes home. And, I mean, as soon as the door closes from Brad saying, all right, see you, man, I turned around. My father's standing there, and he's like, did he put his goddamn hands on my stereo? I'm like, well, yeah, he did, man. But I told him to, my dad cuts me up. He goes, listen to me right now. When I say you cannot touch my stereo, that applies to your friends. I said, Dad, I told him that, but he did. I was like, okay, this is clearly understood. And, man, so anytime someone came over to my house after that, I'm like, yeah, man, grab what you want out of the kit. Please do not touch the effing stereo. Whatever you do not touch his stereo. It did not matter that it was someone else. It's like, you were there. It's in my home. It's my stereo. So,
if I did something bad at my friend's house and I messed something up, his dad would beat my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'd go home and get my ass beat.
I think it depends on the friends.
He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't mess with. He literally just turned it on to put on the radio. But for my father, who made it very clear, that is too much. You can hum a song out loud. You can sing a song to yourself like karaoke. Do not touch my stereo. So, yeah, that never happened again, man.
That was the same thing in my house. I don't know. It was just the era or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, my dad was crazy. Like, because we had like a radio upstairs, right? Like a boombox or whatever. But in the basement, he had this stereo and he had headphones and this and that. And it was the same thing. Like, you could put a record on, but you could not mess with the station or that dial. Maybe it was so hard to dial in the stations. I don't know.
Put a record on.
We could put a record on.
Yeah, if I put a record on my dad's stereo.
We couldn't mess with like the stations or anything.
No, I could jam my dad's stereo.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, my God. My dad's like, man.
I go home, first thing I do, put that on. Until the, appropriate after-school shows,
Oh, the after-school specials?
Yeah, the stuff I wanted to watch, like Batman and Robin.
Ah, yeah, of course.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Terry Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show will join us coming up with Sin Spin. We got the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
All times.
Right after emails on our question, what was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Hey, good news, Ted. You and I, we are not alone in the don't touch your dad's stereo kind of scenario.
All right.
Text came in. One person says, I would rather get life in prison without the possibility of parole than hear the words, go to your room and wait for your dad to get home. I second that. Somebody else says, I am 51 years old. To this day, I will ask my dad if I can turn on his radio in the garage. I'm not changing stations. It's just one button that turns it on. But still ask. I mean, it's just beating into your freaking head, man. And it's crazy because now with my kids, I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't care. Do whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe because it's not stereo equipment. Because they had the turntable, they had the receiver, they had the sound.
Well, now I'm saying also, too, I feel like the dial made a big part of it, right? Because you had
really
to get the
think it
antenna.
came down to the dial?
Right, because nowadays, right, I mean, with digital, you just press the button or click up to the, 99.9. It's pretty simple. But
it's already in there, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like we were talking about with the old TVs. Like, I didn't have to hold the antenna too much unless Washington was playing like Dallas. Then it would be like
3 hours.
Stand there and don't move.
So you really think it just comes to that big ass rotary dial?
I think that's a part of
it. It goes through your body as well. You become part of that antenna.
And I think the equipment just, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I have a little, I forget what you call them, the Yui booms or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're pretty tough. It's like rubber. I mean, you could bury that thing and probably still work. But yeah, back then, like those stereos just for, we have it just right.
Don't touch it.
And as a kid, I don't know. I didn't know what bass and treble do, but
I know.
There's
you want
knobs.
to find out.
Let's play with them.
What do bass and treble mean? Get your goddamn hands on it.
That's how you found out how a stereo worked.
Yeah, just get yelled at, but it was definitely a learning process. Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, buddies.
Hola.
Real quick, I just want to say, what's up, Ted?
What's up, man?
Anyway, so I knew I was in trouble is when I found out I got chlamydia.
How did you find out?
So it was an awesome weekend.
I bet it was.
My buddy's sister was in town from Central Washington University. I'm calling it out because that place is awesome and the devil at the same time.
I like it already.
Her and I had a boom boom, if you will, on a pool table at my buddy's house. And then the next night, my buddy's cousin, another buddy, me and his cousin, we boom boomed.
Same pool table?
No, this was actually in my room above my mom's bedroom, which was super cool. But fast forward 2-3 weeks, it kind of itches when I pee. And so I went to the doctor, and she comes in and she's got an Australian accent, which really kind of made it fun, but at the same time, uncomfortable. She goes, "Oi!" As soon as she walks in, she's like, "Let me see your wiener." So I, do the whole thing, and she goes, "You got drips." And
Drips, baby.
That takes me back a bit, and so she swabbed me, the whole process, and she's like, "I'm going to let you know you probably got chlamydia."
Was she also from the 60s?
No rules, just right.
Got the drips?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I was taken aback. But I had to send the text message to both of those young ladies "Hey, I have chlamydia. You most likely do as well."
I hope it wasn't a group text.
No. But even still, just "Hey, you've got an STD." It wasn't me, because I didn't have chlamydia before having sex with these girls.
Did you figure out who gave you chlamydia?
Yeah, the one from Central Washington University.
That was going to be my guess.
Now, did you give it to the other girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was she pissed off at you? I mean, it's not what you can do if you don't know.
And it's a week of antibiotics, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
And you can also, you can't just say, well, it wasn't me. It was the girl that I had sex with the night before I had sex with you.
On the pool table.
Yes.
Exactly. And I know, I'm best friends with both of who they're related to, brother and cousin. So I can't be "Hey, you're hookerish."
Your hooker sister gave me the drip.
Man, the college age, that's especially when people are living in dorms. And
yeah, I feel like chlamydia was the main one.
That's going to happen at that window. That window, and when you get to the point where you're maybe a single senior, living in a community.
But, I think we can all agree.
Where the numbers hit.
I think we can all agree, though, as far as STD news goes, chlamydia is the best news.
It's not a bad. It's
not good news.
It's a couple shots in a Z-pack.
But it's how they say it. If they say you have an STD, right? Now you start sweating, think the worst. They go, "It's chlamydia." You go, "Oh, thank God."
That's what I'm saying, right? I got it once. You take a Z, right? You take antibiotics for a week, and it was done. So it's
at least you didn't get those big ass shots.
Right, so that's as opposed to other things you can't get rid of,
right?
Pregnancies or this and that. It's all right.
Chlamydia is not permanent; it just hangs out for a couple days.
Stays forever. What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
Now, with that said, that's not a fun conversation to have either way. You have to call some girl, right, and be like, "Hey, I hooked up with another girl the night before."
I don't think you brought that up. I think you just I got chlamydia.
And I just hope they use that Australian accent.
Oh, my God, it's Mike Hawk.
Hey, Mike Hawk, what's going on, Mike?
Well, hi, everybody.
So you hear an Australian accent talking about chlamydia, and now you feel compelled to join. That's your motivation.
I mean, I haven't had a whole lot to add to the conversation at this point, so I just kind of sat in the background.
But as soon as chlamydia came up, like Mike's in.
Australian Dr. Chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
Very specific.
Comes from a koala, doesn't it?
Yeah. How about the irony on that?
I do like that then. Oi. You got the drip.
It's cool. It's got the drips.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803.
Hey, Mike, if that was Miles, he'd have been like, all right, I'll take 2 Fosters and a Bloomin' Onion.
Come on. I can dip it in the drip.
Tiger sauce.
I knew drip dip. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, guys.
Hola.
So when I exactly knew I was kind of in trouble was I just put together a new bicycle. I was about 10, 11 years old, and I took it up to the parking lot to ride it around, check everything out. And I reach underneath and check to see how the chain tension is and proceed to kick my hand into the top of the sprocket and chain.
You reached down to the chain while you're riding the bike?
Yeah, I never said I was smart. That's
Okay.
not part of the story.
That's true.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah. So finger got caught, and it wasn't the type where you could just roll it back and get your finger out. I had to pick the bike up and pedal my finger all the way through to get it out so I could ride home.
God, so you basically just punctured your finger 3 times.
No, it cut it clear to the bone because the chain was too tight.
Ooh.
So they got to stitch my fingertip back on after degreasing it at the hospital.
After degreasing it. Do they just use Dawn dish soap?
Hey, man, I'm impressed at that age you actually successfully put your bike together to that degree where the chain was that tight.
Yeah.
Sort
it
of.
was the first time, but it wasn't successful just like the others yet.
Wow, man. How painful was that?
I couldn't even honestly tell you. I think I went directly into shock. That's how I was just able to pedal it through and get home.
That's anything caught in your chain, especially if it was shoelace, something like that.
Yep.
Once you knew and you're going down a hill, you're like, oh no.
I only got my shoelace caught once.
Trouble.
I got my shoelace caught once. It was
I'm in
awful.
trouble.
I was trying to cross 8 lanes of traffic. I was riding with my dad. I'm a teenager. He used to ride his bike all the time, right? So he's like, see if you can keep up. Quick side note, I could never keep up with him. But we're going across 8 lanes of traffic, and I don't realize that my shoelace is caught in the chain. I'm about on lane 3, and you can feel your foot getting tighter. The bike's slowing down, and it's harder to pedal. But there's nothing you can do. Now, it didn't really hurt because it just broke the shoelace, but I just remember thinking, I'm going to get hit by a car because I can't pedal my bike fast enough to get out of traffic. Yeah.
What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803 Rock.
Did you ever ride on the back of somebody's bicycle, or if they had like the pegs?
Once.
Standing up, yeah.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. And one time, I don't know what I did, but somehow I just twisted my foot enough on the peg that it got caught in the spokes.
God.
So, I mean, we both went tumbling. God, that hurts.
Yes, that's why I don't do that. Hello, Christina. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, when I realized I was in trouble is when I saw a car come at me, and next thing I know, my hands were on the hood of the car, and he had pinned me up against the building.
What exactly happened? Where were you that this guy just drove straight? He would have just driven into the building if you weren't there, right?
Well, I don't know. He might have, because he was drunk.
Oh.
But no, I was standing outside of 7-Eleven where I worked, and I was getting some fresh air. Unfortunately, I should not have went out there at 2 o'clock in the morning. But a guy pulled into the parking space in front of me, and I kind of looked at him and, smiled. And next thing I know, in slow motion, he went over the cement block up onto the sidewalk and pinned me up against the building.
Wow. How long were you between the car and the building?
Well, he got out of the car and, what happened? And I'm like, back up.
I thought you're still pinned.
Why did he back up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, back up. And who? Because he was drunk. And then he backed up. And what ended up happening is I ended up with my knee in the grill of the car because I tried to get away. Dislocated broken hip.
Oh.
The pressure of getting hit on my other leg popped the whole back of my knee, behind my knee open. And I'm laying there with no traffic with a drunk guy who's walking around all over the place in my blood. And I'm yelling at him to, call 911 and stuff, and he's just stumbling around.
How did he eventually call 911?
No, actually, there was a lady who decided to go to work early, and instead of, because 7-Eleven was on a corner of a 4-way stop, and she decided not to run a yellow light, and so she stopped her car, and I was yelling for help, and she thought I was getting robbed. So she pulled into the parking lot and saw me laying there.
And did that guy stick around, or did he get in his car and take off?
Well, he tried to. He was just kind of walking around inside the store, and when the either the fire department or the police got there, he tried to leave, and so they got him before he left. So
did you get any money out of it?
Yeah, did that guy pay for your medical bills?
Yeah. Well, my case was supposed to be worth about $250,000, and I got a whopping $33,000 out of it.
See, and I'm not being funny. This is why you reach out to the advocate.
For sure.
This is the exact kind of situation you're talking about.
Did you get representation, or did you just take what they offered you?
No, I had representation, but unfortunately, I was stuck in the hospital, and my mom got a hold of an attorney, and come to find out, he was the same defense attorney he was the same attorney who was working on that case with all the arsons up in Everett area. I can't remember his name, but yeah, so I think my case wasn't important enough, I guess. That's what it felt like anyways.
Yeah. Yep. It doesn't.
You're not wrong.
No.
I mean, as long as you know.
Yeah.
That. But seriously, that's why the advocates advertise.
A lot of people lose their
exactly
leg that way.
For stuff like this.
I had a buddy who he and his family, they went out of town, and they had pulled into where you would, the little courtyard area of the hotel. All right. So where you load in your bags and everything else. And there was a lady behind them, and she was an older woman, and they were getting the stuff out of their trunk. His 2 daughters were in the back getting their stuff out of the trunk. The one walks away. The woman accidentally hits the gas, goes into her, and she ended up losing a leg.
How old was the girl?
She was 8, 9.
Damn, man.
From the knee down, just by getting hit.
Jesus.
And getting pinned up against it. And then the woman continued to accelerate and started pushing their car forward into the other car and would not take. She did not have a medical emergency. There was nothing going on with her. She just should not have been driving.
Clearly.
But, yeah. What was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? 206-803-ROCK.
That's unbelievable.
On that positive note, hello, Lance. Yeah. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Hola. Yeah, we got you, man.
Okay, man. So you can get one of the 2 stories. I've got one that was a really close call and one that I wrecked.
Let's go with the one you told VD.
Okay, so I drove an 18-wheeler, and it was a triple-digit truck. I mean, it was probably one of the top 20 fastest trucks in the nation at the time. And I was going across 80, going westbound, and I was in a whiteout for, it seemed like 2 hours. It might have been maybe an hour. But white knuckling, you can't stop, or, you just got to keep the same speed when you're in a whiteout. I don't know if you've ever been on a whiteout before. Yeah. So I'm keeping the same speed. I'm white knuckling. Finally get out of it, and I'm like, thank God, I can just sit back and relax. I kick back, set my cruise control on 85 because the speedometer only goes to 85. And even though the truck would do like 140, 150 miles an hour, it would just go until it blew up. It was wide open. But anyway, so I'm cruising, and I realize that I'm going down Moose Pass. And I hit the top of Moose Pass doing 85 miles an hour. And I was like, holy crap. So I set up my seat. I zipped my seatbelt in, and I grabbed a gear. And I don't know if you've ever driven a truck before, but if you don't grab a gear, when you're downshifting, you got to rev up to grab that gear, or you're done. Well, I grabbed the gear, and I'm pumping the brakes. When I'm pumping the brakes, I know I've got a corner coming up, and I grab another gear. And then right before that corner, I start feathering it, because if you pull a chain across the table, it's fine. But if you push it, it crumples up, right? Same thing with the truck. You hit the brakes, you're done. I don't know if you know where I'm at. I'm at Moose Pass going down towards Laramie. And I'm driving a 50-foot split axle reefer behind me. And I've got, fully loaded. And this trailer's just hanging out for dear life. And I'm feathering it through corners, man. I'm leaving NASCAR tracks behind me. That trailer's just hanging out for dear life, right? I get down to the end of this run, and this little 280Z is got my right lane. And I really want this right lane, man, because I'm like, screw it. I'm down the last two corners, right? And I flew by him and flew by a truck on the last corner going to Laramie. I got on the other side of Laramie and jumped into the first rest stop there was, pulled over and shut my truck down, pulled all my screens shut, because I didn't know, if there was a cop. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I just don't know how I got down that mountain like that.
How much weight were you pulling behind you?
So I hear a knock at my door. And I'm like, oh my God. It's got to be the cops, right? I didn't answer. I'm staying still in my bunk. I've got my zipper up, to my sleeper, and I hear another knock. And the guy says, "Hey, I'm just a driver." He said, "I just want to shake your hand." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I'm just a driver." The old guy. So I kind of peek out. I don't know. I wanted to just stay still and not, because I knew the cops probably saw me coming down that mountain. And this guy had been driving for like 36 years, and here I am, a rookie. I just got my first truck. Only been driving for like 3 or 4 years. And he said, "I just want to shake your hand." I said, "For what?" He said, "I've never seen anybody come down that mountain like that ever in my entire life."
Right, don't want to quite do it on purpose, man.
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
pure survival instinct.
Tara Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show. Coming up, we're going to sit and spin. We've got the 10 most annoying songs of all times. And your emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I really think a lot of it is just honing in on what your natural interests are, starting small with that too in a more realistic capacity, and then just growing from there. And your passions will lead you.
Ooh, okay. Wait a second.
Right? There you
so
go.
We have
Soundbite. Soundbite.
Yes, that was good. Okay, we're going to grab that.
Dental Soundbites, created for dentists by dentists.
Do things that make you happy. And that's my drop the mic moment.
I love that.
Dental Soundbites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to dust off your glove, grab your bat, and hit the road for some baseball. But before you head to the game, make sure your ride is in top shape. At Axton Automotive, our skilled mechanics ensure your vehicle is running smoothly so you can focus on cheering for your team. Don't strike out this spring. Get your car ready for baseball season. Visit AxtonAutomotive.com or call 360-685-7976.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Tara Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show coming up. We will sit and spin. And today we get a little under your skin with the 10 most annoying songs of all time. Cool. But first, time for a few emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And a couple on our question, what was the first moment that you knew that you were in trouble? To make it quick, 2014. I was flying from Seattle to Utah for a visit to my dad for Christmas. As we were descending. What are we doing? As we were descending, the captain informed us of minor turbulence due to a snowstorm. I know it's going to be bad when the flight attendants buckled themselves in. Even at 14, I knew this was not good. We ended up dropping like 20 straight feet and losing lights in the cabin at one point. People literally kissed the floor when we got off the plane. I now despise flying with every fiber of my being. That from Nathan.
Nathan, keep your eye. I'm telling you, I've only had one experience like this. Keep your eye on the flight attendant. We're a small puddle jumper, won't go through the whole thing, but bad flight, lots of turbulence, and the flight attendant, he's the only flight attendant on the plane because it's that small. The seat that they sit in faces the passengers. So he sits down and buckles himself in. No big deal. We understood that. Then he closed his eyes, looked like he was about to cry, and kept crossing himself. And me and the guy sitting across the aisle looking at each other like, should we be more worried than we are? My God.
Yeah, so maybe don't look at the flight attendant.
And that's the time it's okay to clap.
Yes.
Guys, as a kid, I would get off the bus at my dad's work in Granite Falls one day at the gas station that was under construction. I was always helping him load cigarettes on the top of the counter. Walking back into the storeroom, and one of the shelving units that had been taken apart started to fall. I went to catch it, and it took me down. It was so heavy. I pulled my hand out because it obviously hurt. Then I looked down and my finger was completely dangling there by one piece of skin. I definitely thought, oh man, I was 6 years old. I'm screaming my head off. Damn. Long story short, 911 was called, and I no longer have the tip of my middle finger. So it looks really funny when I decide to flip someone off.
You're just saying F with no U.
Yeah, cheers, guys. That from Daniel. As we move on to the birthday request.
Stubby.
Oh, Michelle is writing it for myself this year, betting my dad and brother forgot. 31 trips around the sun, hoping for a big old bong rip, and you guys talking all over yourselves about back pain. Thanks, guys. That from Brandon in Bonnie Lake. A big old bong hit.
Oh, God damn it. That's me. I must be high.
It's not Thursday.
Or Friday. Back pain, Brandon, body like
back pain is the worst thing ever. I mean, I don't care who you are, what kind of shape you're in. Your back is messed up. You throw it out. You're
wipe his ass and throw his back out. It's
just take it.
Affects everybody.
Guys, I'm hoping I'm not sending this too late. It's my 31st birthday. If I could get a kid's face sandwich, a suck-it-up cupcake, and a big old bong rip, it would be appreciated.
Bong rip,
Steve.
My husband and I have been listening together for 10 years. Enjoy the show on the way home every day from work. That from the lovely Christina.
Just challenge. So, suck it up, cupcake.
Nola Macholas, a birthday shout out for myself. 48 laps around the sun. And I know my wife won't send in a request. So how about the Dirty Germans talking about being a traffic engineer and some dad jokes for Miles. Cheers, guys, and a big happy birthday there to Brian.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of times in Deutschland, we play the role of the traffic engineer. We say, keep backing up. Keep backing that thing up. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And we like to wave in the dump trucks because sometimes he has dumps like truck.
Yeah.
Truck. Dad jokes. Guys, did you know that my imaginary girlfriend and I wash the dishes simultaneously?
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we do it in sync.
Okay.
How do you stop an argument between two deaf people?
How?
Turn the light off. What type of hunter should stay away from guns?
I don't know.
Hunter Biden.
Oh, topical. Well done. Well done.
Day of joke.
Wow.
Day of joke. Guys, I just found out my father has been a mime my entire life.
Oh, yeah? How'd you find out?
He kept it quiet. Apparently, my dad set the bar too high for me as a kid. I'd use a stool to reach his liquor cabinet. And one more. 5 ants live in a house. 5 more move in. What do you have now?
Tenants.
10 ants. 10 ants. But Joel, it's Chris and Stanwood, longtime listener since the Buzz days. Love the show. Today I've completed 54 spins around the sun. Could I get a your penis is too small? A cut that bitch off, an owl hitting the window, and a Kevin Hart damn. Thanks, guys, and keep up the great work.
Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
Damn.
Teamwork makes the dream work, Mike.
Ah, yeah, baby.
And we got one more here. Our
Technology coming through the last couple of days, finally.
Bud Light Julie is 55 years old today. She is the best girlfriend ever and the love of my life. Could you give her a Pat Sajak, followed by a Kirk Cousins, maybe a few shotgun gets, and the dirtiest of Germans telling her how to properly take care of the sausage she's getting tonight. That from her man, a.k.a. Big Trouble. Thanks,
She
guys.
wants a D, and
keep
she's
on
gonna
rocking.
get one.
You like that? You like that?
Get.
Yeah. Tonight you simply tell Julie, take your very big hands and grab the sausage.
With the big hands.
Yeah, big giant hands makes the sausage look so small.
Tiny Vienna sausage.
Yeah. Hopefully with those big hands you get a nice back rub or something. Lord knows they can penetrate the pain.
Yeah, you could have your shoulders and your lower back all at the same time.
She should have just never emailed us and told us that it bugged her. Because now it's never going to leave.
Big hands, Julie. All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Yes, friends, it's time once again for Sit and Spin. Let's gather around the old radio and listen to some swellerific new music.
Taryn Daly in the house. Taryn Daly, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you guys?
Doing great. What's news?
Man, I don't know. It's just a gloomy day in the PNW. I love it.
What do you got to do to get ready for the summertime there on the Taryn Daly farm?
Well, there's been a lot of mulching lately, a lot of farm chores and things of that nature. The weekly mowing has, really started where you got to keep up on that. It gets away really quick.
Farm chores. Never an experience I've really had.
So a lot of
grass
poop.
looks good.
The's a lot of poop you got to deal with.
Yeah, no, I'm
And you got
out.
to do with that. I got to deal with that all year long, but yeah.
You still have goats?
Still got 2 goats.
Okay, what are their names?
Lewis and Ginger.
Lewis and Ginger the goats.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Now, when you come home, are the goats happy to see you, like a dog?
Yes. So the one, Ginger sometimes will like yell for me. Like, I'm going to back off the microphone, but she goes like, ooh! Ooh! and then I got to go pet her. Yeah, then I go in there and give her a little butt scratch. Lewis is more of a leaner. He'll lean in. That's how he likes to get his love in. Yeah.
What does he like to be
sweet.
scratched?
Well, they both kind of like necks and butts. A little bit,
necks and butts.
You're apparently supposed to not scratch them on the head because they can find it to be like an intimidation because that's how goats,
Oh, right. When they get mad at each other.
with their heads, their skulls, their horns. So you're not really supposed to pet them on the head because they can think like, oh, you want to go?
Now, do they crossbreed as friends? Like, is the dog friends with a chicken, or is the chicken friends with a goat?
I mean, the goats, the chickens go into the goat pen a lot. We don't really let the goats out of their pen so much anymore because they can knock the kid down, and that could be bad.
Right.
But the dogs are fine. Dogs around them are fine. When we have friends' dogs come over, they're usually like, "What the hell are those things?" Like they just go crazy. Like other dogs will go crazy because they've never seen a goat before.
Man, that's fair.
Farm life.
Yeah.
And for the record, the only real a-hole is always going to be the rooster.
The rooster that we have now, it's funny that you say that. The rooster, we named him Bill Burr because he's small and loud.
What time is it? What time is it now? 5:35 a.m. What time is it?
Oh, way earlier than that. So
Really?
usually like 3:30 is when he starts.
Oh, my God.
You gotta be kidding.
I like to sleep with the windows open.
No,
but
he's going to die.
I know. I love to sleep with the windows open, but Brad's alarm goes off at like 3:30, so I'll tell him, can you please close all the windows? Thank you, because it'll keep me up for the rest of the morning.
Is a rooster basically like a hen house bouncer?
Yes.
That seems to be like their general role.
So technically, the reason that they crow is to like tell other roosters like stay out of my yard. But there are no other roosters.
But there's no way to tell them like there are no
There's
roosters
no other
in
roosters.
earshot.
Please be quiet.
You know what? I'm going to take that when I get up in the morning. All my neighbors, hey, get off my property.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
It's basically that.
We're not on your property.
And he's actually smaller than all of the chickens, but somehow manages to like get up on there and get it done.
Is he like the bagel guy? Shut your mouth. That's what I'm paying a little teeny tiny guy with a bad attitude.
Oh my gosh, he's funny.
Not God or my father or my boss.
Bill
Shut
Burr.
your mouth.
Bill Burr the rooster.
Bill Burr. So today you came here to annoy us.
Yes. We have some very annoying songs to run through.
Cool.
These are going to be earworms that might stick with you for the rest of the week.
That's the worst part. It seems like, everyone has songs that annoys them, right? And that's free for everyone. But inevitably, the song you hate most or is the most annoying is the one that you will sing for 3 days straight.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes it even worse.
So these are the 10 most annoying songs of all time on Sit and Spin.
Number 10.
God. Classic beats.
You can't help but dance, though. I'm going to dance a little bit.
It's not the worst song in the world.
It's not.
But it's like in the bottom 5%.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't annoy me.
Really?
It's the same thing over and over. I understand why the lyrics are annoying, but for the most part, I'm like, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like Bieber. Sure. And there's some songs I really like. I don't put on this one as much as I think he's like 17.
Right.
So I feel a little creepy. But
It's like Kid Rock.
Yeah, it's kind of like Miley Cyrus. Like, you can play Party in the USA, but it's like, it's got a tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
like
we like the more advanced, more mature Bieber.
Yeah.
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 These are the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 9.
Jeez. Who sang this?
Aqua. Yeah.
Aqua, that's right.
It was a good video.
It was all the rage. I remember loving this song when it came out. I've changed my opinion about it since then. It's not on my playlist.
It always shows up on these lists.
Really, totally.
One-hit wonders and everything else. People hate it. 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 8.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
There you go, Miles. You love this song.
Be happy.
But even Bobby McFerrin hates this song.
He won't even do it live. You go to his concert, you'd think you'd want to see his number one hit.
Well, so what song will he perform that we know? Nothing against the guy. He's talented. I'm not arguing his talent. I'm saying, let me rephrase this. If I got sucked into a Bobby McFerrin concert, I guess maybe I'd be happy he doesn't do this because I do hate the song, but there's no other song he could perform that's original. Brad, have any idea?
Steve, I told you would love Shanto Thin the Show.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got to play this.
It's the song.
Yeah.
Does it give like some sort of disclaimer at the beginning of the show? Like, I'm not telling anyone to be happy out here, okay? If that's what you came for, just leave.
Change lyrics. These are the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 7. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something.
It was all downhill after this because auto-tune. This is one of the first auto-tune songs, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Like, really auto-tuned.
That's a misnomer. Believe it or not, Kermit the Frog put a vice on his testicles and did this. He recorded the vocals and just let Cher mouth over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Kermit in the shower naked, thinking none of the neighbors.
I think it's not annoying since I haven't heard it in a while.
Yeah.
So when it was on all the time.
It was on all the time. I used to work at a station that played the song too, man. And the bosses always say, "Hey, man, don't talk bad about the artist or the song." We'd finish playing that song, and I'm like, "I hate that song. I played it for you."
But I lived at Capitol Hill for years, so I heard this song a lot.
It's a banger. A lot of Manilow up there.
Oh, yeah.
Anthem. Yeah. These are the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 6.
It's Friday.
Oh, God. How do you ruin Friday?
Well, also, who told her that she could sing? Her voice is terrible.
Her mom.
Her parents. She was 13.
She was a kid.
Yeah. Haven't you had art from Barrett up under?
Yes.
Art is in quotation marks. This is a wonderful cow. It's not a cow, it's a house. Well, it's a great house then.
Yeah, but you don't hang that 13-year-old picture in the Smithsonian for everyone to see in the art gallery.
That's fair.
You're right. So people can be critical of it.
Yeah,
I don't think she meant for this to happen, These are the 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 5. A little bit of money.
I hate this song with a passion.
Don't you have a reason why you hate it?
I bet it's because his name is not included in the list. A little bit of Teddy.
Lou Bega could burn in hell. Where's he from? We just found out not too long ago.
Lou Bega?
Yeah, he's like from some weird country. Like you'd think he was from Brazil or Puerto Rico or I don't know, the late name like Lou Bega and the way the sound.
German.
He's German.
Okay, I would not have guessed that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mambo number 5, yeah.
You guys should love this.
You're right. Thrill's right. You couldn't get away from it. I was at a party once. It was played over and over. It was a dance-a-thon. And they kept playing this one over and over and over. I was like, can we play a different goddamn song?
And how many weddings did they play that?
Everyone.
I have a special spot I hate for this song.
10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 4.
The peanut butter song.
This is my vocal range, though. This, if I'm going to go to karaoke, this might be one of the songs I know.
What sucked about this one was it came out like in the middle of the grunge era.
Totally.
And they looked grungy.
Oh, and you know what I just realized? It's on the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack.
It is.
Yes. Which is a great soundtrack, minus this song.
Sure. Crash Test Dummies, right?
Yeah, Crash Test Dummies.
My brother's buddy bought this CD. He thought they were going to be the next big thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, at the time, inexplicably, there's reason to believe that.
Yeah.
It was massive. Like, they're terrible, but that does not mean you won't be big.
God, I hate that song. 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 3.
Oh, God.
I don't mind this.
I do.
This is on the wedding playlist.
It is.
Oh, yeah. And now that you know what the song is about. The fact that it's about a guy who goes to war and his girlfriend sleeps with every dude that she possibly can.
Hey, Macarena.
Wow.
That's what it's about.
It's a very uplifting song considering the content.
Well, it should be for her. She had a blast.
Yeah.
Probably 7-8 blasts, if you know what I'm saying.
A lot of blasting.
Oh, man. Hey, Macarena.
Super Soakers.
Yeah, man. 10 most annoying songs of all time.
Number 2.
Let it go.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Hold it back.
So far, I think we've only watched Frozen 3 times.
That is 1,574 times less than me. Although I will say this thing about this song, right? So my daughter was at the perfect age when this movie came out. My wife watched it with her first and then tricked me going, oh, babe, really, it's not bad. Think like Pixar. It was a setup. Yeah, I could not speak ill of it as my daughter's watching it completely involved. But when we're done, I went in the kitchen and basically cussed my wife out. Like, come on, man, that's not even a funny prank. But
that's an hour and a half of my life I'm never getting back.
And it was a bad hour and a half. But years later, they're doing, I don't know, the father-daughter dance at the kid's school, right? This is K through 8. Okay, so it includes 8th graders as well. The DJ played this song toward the end of the night. And every girl there was screaming the song at the top of their lungs. But all of its fathers, I was like, brother, if you tried to stop them from doing the song, they'd have to suck you out of the ceiling with a wet vac. Like, it's their version of I Will Survive.
Oh, for sure.
But if I tell my daughter to let things go, it doesn't work.
These are the 10 most annoying songs of all time. We made it to number one.
Number one.
I mean, you know, I have kids, and then between the Friday Girl and these clowns, like, I realize I want to hurt children. And that's a horrible thing to say, but if you're going to do this, it's like the Cars for Kids kids.
Sure.
Like, all of us should be able to throw something at them. I know it sounds bad, but you don't disagree.
They're all rich.
I know they're rich.
Well, this was a camp song for me way back in the day. When I used to go to Camp Elf on Vashon Island back in the day, it was the Shark song, but it was not to this tune. This, like, whatever this is, got completely ruined. Pink Fong. Totally ruined my camp song for me. It was actually delightful at camp.
It's cheesy enough that it doesn't bug me.
Really?
Because it's that bad.
Plus, I don't have kids that age, so I don't even hear it that much. So when I do, I'm just so happy to annoys all you guys.
This is like my perfect bugging song. Like, this is the perfect song to bug me.
I'm just shocked that what did the Fox say didn't make this list.
Oh, my gosh. That's a good call.
Coming up, thank you so much, Terry Daly. We appreciate it. We will drink and toast with a shout of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow, today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at AmericanStandardAir.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health, and Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size, because it all adds up to something big, a healthier you. Regence Blue Shield. Together we health.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up next, we'll drink and toast for the shout of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check on Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. A woman was arrested for throwing a drink at a politician, and she used her 15 minutes of arrested fame to promote her OnlyFans page.
Yeah, man. I read about her.
That doesn't shock me because I saw that video last week and I was like, she looks kind of attractive.
Oh, she's hot. I believe it was a milkshake.
It was a milkshake, and it was in England.
Yeah, look, if you're going to throw a drink at someone, take something you don't like, not a milkshake.
I don't know the parties over there, but that guy, he got stuff thrown at him again yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's just going to follow him around now.
If you were going to throw a drink on somebody, what would you take over to the fountain to put into and throw on them?
Am I mad at them or do I like them?
You're mad. Honestly, man, just if I'm at your average soda fountain and you guys are going to get mad at me, it's nothing personal. It's just my least favorite would be Dr. Pepper. I'm not throwing the Sprite. I'm not throwing the Coke. Definitely not throwing an orange soda.
Out of all those in that great, Coca-Cola mix it however you want machine that's got 300 different flavors, you're going to throw Dr. Pepper on them.
Yeah, but Diet Dr. Pepper so it doesn't hurt him as bad.
Okay. Miles, any thoughts?
Probably something sticky like grape soda.
It's not a bad call. Ted, what is your perfect throw 'em on a drink?
I feel like the milkshake is a good call. That's really going to sticky and mess somebody up.
But what flavor are you willing to part with?
Well, I probably have a vanilla one, as I always get a vanilla milkshake.
That one, right? So if you buy 2 milkshakes, they go, look, the vanilla's for me. What's the other flavor you're getting specifically to throw at this guy?
Hopefully something pink. So it looks like Pepto.
Strawberry or something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, Mike, those soda machines are confusing. I was at a...
How's that?
There was an old lady in front of me. I stopped at a Jack in the Box on a road trip. She's like, I can't get regular Coke, right? Because it brings up all the options.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was like, let me look at it. And I go, I don't understand either. And it's busy, right? And then the lady comes over and she's like, well, you're on the Coke screen. Just put it underneath and get the Coke. And
yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's secondary screens if you want to add any other flavor. You want like a cherry Coke?
Yeah, see, well, Mike, you know that. Me and the 70-year-old lady look like the 2 oldest dumbasses in the Jack in the Box.
You know.
Those machines still excite me. I get the plain stuff, but I still get excited.
Yeah, I'm with you. I always get like a cherry Dr. Pepper. I up the ante.
Ooh, okay.
Doesn't Dr. Pepper already have...
Whatever.
That's more of
Now
a
it's got a little bit extra.
More of a cinnamon tip, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Ted.
Banks are attempting to make their local branches look less intimidating with sculptures and coffee.
The headline I read was, if you find banks intimidating, stay home. It's a bank. I know what they're doing. It does update it and freshens it up, but I never walked in. And
why are you in the bank unless you're getting a loan?
Well, they're starting to offer different services now.
Well, they had they had one of those. Capital One had one in South Lake Union for a while. There was a coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly.
So you went in there and you got a coffee and you did your banking. Actually, the tellers would come up to you as you sat at the table, and if you weren't a customer, they'd ask if you'd like to be one. Do you need any money? Do you need a loan? Do you need a deposit? Do you need this?
They should do it like Sonic. Yeah. You just stay in your car and they roll up on roller skates.
What do you know? Do they say which kind of banks or all banks are doing this?
You need money.
I think it's a great idea. Just most of the banks, like that.
It just said banks.
All right.
That's not one particular bank itself.
I mean, I'm a U.S. bank guy. If they start serving coffee, I'll just go in there and hang out.
That's kind of their idea. Maybe they can sell you on something else, right? So they want you to come in to commit. Because look, if they call your ass, you know you're not taking a call.
Correct.
Oh, we just wanted to ask you. Yeah, I don't have time. But if you go in there and you're sipping on coffee and they run some ideas by you, you go like, all right.
The planetary health diet can help reduce your risk of early death and help the planet at the same time, according to research.
So what
What's
do we
the
eat?
planetary health diet?
Basically anything that comes straight from the planet. It's heavy in fruits and vegetables and legumes and beans and seeds and stuff like that.
Is this news? Is this news?
You mean don't eat the Cheez-Its?
Right. Don't eat processed food. That's what they're talking about.
So why don't they just call it what it is, the Mediterranean diet?
Yeah, no kidding. That is still voted like one of the best diets that you could have.
It's like the NFL. I've discovered this new sport. I call it Miles Ball.
Right.
Well, what do? You throw a football down the field.
Yeah.
No, it's already got a name, dude. It's football.
Yeah, this is not new. Come on.
You're right. That does sound very close.
Yeah, it's like...
Come on. I like to think that all of us here are somewhat in tune with our bodies and what they're going through, and if something were to be wrong. However, it's not always obvious that we've got something wrong. However, our bodies still tell us that something is wrong. We just might not know it. It's time for
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 signs your body is telling you something is wrong. If you're my mom, your body has been telling you something is wrong for over a decade. Getting your bad knee replaced. Until slowly but surely you started to lose your mobility and quality of life, and then you had to complain about how you should have never had the surgery in the first place, even though you can move better now. And you don't, and no one can tell you that you need to move and walk. But no, you know better, because you're a stubborn pain in the ass and are slowly but surely willfully allowing yourself to become an invalid. So hey, good luck. Love ya.
And I know that story is true.
I know it's true, man. He's told me.
God. So there's 16 signs that your body is telling you something is wrong, and I guarantee you these are going to shock you. Swollen feet bottoms up the list. Says the most innocent reason for swollen feet is usually from standing up too long, which would pretty much be the main reason why. But there are other more sinister reasons for this, including heart failure, liver disease, or kidney disease.
Everybody check your feet.
Hey, people swear by the fact that your feet control a lot more than you think.
Sure.
as far as getting rid of a headache, rubbing your feet. There's so many nerves. It's the bottom part, but it's the part that connects your brain to the rest of your body.
Right.
So they communicate a lot. So if there's anything wrong with that, your feet will let you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes, too, with planes going up and down, I don't know what you call it, but that...
Elevation change, I mean?
Yeah, that's why you'll see people on planes wearing, like, compression socks and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tend
your
to keep
feet
it
do
as
swell on those planes.
Yeah, I tend to keep it as loose as possible. I don't want laces. I want to be able to just,
right.
Let them expand.
Just keep your shoes on your feet. I don't mind you loosening up your shoes when you're up in the air.
Them on.
Keep those doggone things on,
yeah.
man. You're always itchy. Aside from skin conditions like eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, being constantly itchy might actually be due to kidney failure.
Or sleeping with lots of ants in your bed. One of those two things.
I never heard that. I mean, it would be. I would think if you're constantly itchy, just after a while, you naturally. I feel like I would like have to make an appointment or go somewhere and be like, I don't know what's going on. I can't stop itching.
Allergic to something I ate.
Right. I would not think kidney failure.
I know when I've had surgeries, opiates make me itchy.
I've heard that. A lot of people get itchy on opiates.
Yeah. I just have a bad. I have a bad feeling that I'm going to freak out a lot of people on this because a lot of these are normal feelings that you go throughout the entire day, but it's like, no, something's wrong.
Hey, you're not freaking anybody out because they'll Google their symptoms and freak themselves out.
Has she been itchy since the surgery?
Little bit, yeah. We've got some scabbing going on.
Yeah, I think I'm dead serious. I think that every time I've had a surgery, those opiates, man, you're just like itchy.
Or tell her she's possibly suffering kidney failure.
Yeah. I thought I had 10 Percocet in this, but there are only 9.
She hasn't taken a single opiate this time around. Just
really?
Trooper, man.
Okay, good.
Well, sticking to basically extra strength Tylenol.
Did they give her opiates?
Yes, they did.
Ooh.
I mean, no, they didn't.
I mean, honestly, I think it's good. They're, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're in pain, but I think it's good they're going back to being like you only get the amount you need. And then it's extra strength Tylenol or whatever.
These are signs that your body is telling you something is wrong. You're always thirsty, which I did hear about this one. If you feel the constant urge to drink but always remain thirsty, it could be down to a number of reasons. The first, you could be experiencing hyperglycemia, a symptom of high blood pressure, which may be due to diabetes.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I did hear about that.
Some medications, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
again, you would know if you started a new medication and you're thirsty. Right, if you constantly have dry mouth for no good reason and you're not on medication or smoking weed, it's like, what's going on?
Losing your sense of smell. Again, these are signs that your body is telling you something's wrong.
What might it be suggesting now?
It says, since the pandemic, losing your sense of smell has mostly been linked to COVID and is one of the more noticeable symptoms of the virus. However, if you've done the test and you're all clear, hyposmia, as it's known, may also be another early sign of Parkinson's disease.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So, yeah, make sure that you have your sense of smell.
I mean, again, I don't know how you could lose your sense of smell and not be a little alarmed.
Right. As far as it being noticeable, I feel like I don't smell a whole lot going around, but if I want to smell something and I don't at all, that's when the antenna goes up.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, you go to a barbecue place or a pizza joint and you can't smell it, I'd be like, I gotta go to the doctor.
Something's bad. Hair loss. Thyroid disease could be the culprit of thinning hair or hair loss.
Oh, man, I've had thyroid problems for 35 years now.
Yeah, I had a bad thyroid in my mid to late 20s, I guess.
My eyes are popping out.
Miles' thyroid is fine on his head.
It's going to shock you, but a puffy face is a sign that your body's telling you something is wrong.
Or you're drinking a lot.
If you experience a swollen or puffy face alongside other side effects like muscle weakness and thinning hair, it could be because your thyroid gland. It's another hyperthyroidism issue.
What exactly does your thyroid do? Is that what regulates the hormones in your body or something like that? I'm just you always hear about
I'll find out when I have a problem with it.
Isn't that how that works?
Yeah.
Well, Miles, you have a thyroid problem. Cool, Doc. What exactly does that mean?
Yes.
Okay, it produces hormones that regulate the body's metabolic rate, growth, and development.
Ah, okay.
Oh, man. Did you know it's right below your Adam's apple?
For real?
Yeah.
I just learned that.
My mom just had thyroid surgery, and they removed all kinds of crap. She was cut from her neck all the way to her ear.
Is that when you found out? Because I'm finding out with Ted.
I did not. Apparently, if you remove some of these nodes, if you have thyroid issues, symptoms will go away. but she's still waiting to find out if they got the one that was doing the, the problem. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's spelled different, but I guess the word thigh, I just assumed it was somewhere in your lower body.
And Roy, you thought it was in your butt.
When your thighs in your butt, get real close.
But it actually controls quite a bit. It says that it regulates your metabolism, your temperature, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your hormone response. This thing is working like crazy.
Yeah,
my mom overworked and underpaid.
My mom used to just get wiped out. She'd have to lay down.
Constant bloating. Again, these are signs that your body's telling you something is wrong. Feeling bloated can be caused by multiple things. The first and most common is that you just have a lot of gas in your gut, usually caused by certain food and drinks, plus from swallowing too much air when you eat. Secondly, it could be down to a digestion problem like constipation.
Huh. You can't get the poop out, so your body just starts blowing up.
Pretty much.
I was telling Mike a couple weeks ago, we got a bunch of barbecue on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's Saturday morning, 11 a.m., feeling great. By about 11:30, I was like, oh, man, I'm so bloated.
Yeah, this is bad. Blue or white fingers when it's cold?
I'm guessing you have hypothermia.
To a degree.
But I always have white fingers, Mike.
Well, you're a white dude.
Yeah.
But they actually say it's likely down to Raynaud's disease. It's where your blood stops flowing properly to your fingers and toes due to the blood to skin arteries becoming too narrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And also, it's freaking cold.
Intense dreams. Says having really intense dreams could mean way more than just having a vivid imagination. They can sometimes reveal things about your body, mind, and overall health. For example, people who have regular nightmares and distressing dreams could be experiencing early non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's.
Oh, God.
Jeez, a whiz. Can we not?
Everyone sleep tight tonight.
Yep.
God.
I mean, sometimes dreams are just intense.
Yeah, sometimes.
Ridges on your fingernails. Everybody look at their fingers. Having ridges on your fingernails can mean a couple of different things. The most common being that you've got a vitamin or nutrient deficiency. That includes the A, B, C, D, E vitamins plus zinc and selenium. However, there could be a more sinister reason that your nails are looking bumpy, curved, and enlarged. Lung disease.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I smoke. I don't need to worry about that.
I mean, are your fingernails not supposed to have ridges?
I mean, you can have a few here and there, but if it's as common on almost all of your fingers or multiple fingers, then it's probably a sign of something.
I've got decently smooth fingernails. Yeah.
And we noticed, that's the first thing we noticed about you, Mike.
That's why I got the job.
First time I shook your hand, I'm like, that brother has some smooth ass nails.
Did you use lotion?
And then this is the number one sign that your body is telling you something is wrong. Dry eyes. It says, granted, there's a myriad of reasons why you might have dry eyes, the most obvious being staring at your computer screen all day, which is a common thing given many of us work the 9-to-5 office life. While this is more likely to be the case, it could also be a symptom of the autoimmune disease, Sjogren's syndrome.
Sjogren's?
It's common.
Right?
It's common in people who've had LASIK, too, so something to think about.
It does cause inflammation of your tear-secreting glands. God, I'm all good.
Yeah, it's not allergies. You're probably dying.
Yep. A man in Florida was arrested for walking around his neighborhood naked, and you won't believe why he did it, Miles.
Why did he do it?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
He's from Florida. Oh, thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, it's going to contest on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. 10 if we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed, and today we chose Derek Mosley of Washington County, Oregon. Now, I think we can all agree that planning is very important when you're trying to pull off a crime, right? It's essential to the success of the act that every detail be thought out in advance. Well, Derek planned to rob a store during business hours, which is always a risky proposition, but he armed them.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With an American Standard heat pump system, the future of heating and cooling your home is already here. Bringing constant comfort to your home, American Standard heat pumps are energy efficient, reliable, and ready for tomorrow today. Plus, making the upgrade from your traditional furnace or AC unit is easier than ever before with home energy offers, rebates, and tax credits. Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification. American Standard, built to a higher standard.
My neighbor Ned brags a lot about his smart home. So I showed him my ecobee smart home. Turns out ecobee's a lot smarter. So tell the Ned on your block about ecobee. Just yell, "Get yourself a smarter home." Visit ecobee.com today.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast Derek Mosley of Washington County, Oregon. Now, I think we can all agree that planning is very important when you're trying to pull off a crime, right? It's essential to the success of the act that every detail be thought out in advance. Well, Derek planned to rob a store during business hours, which is always a risky proposition, but he armed himself with a baseball bat and a 9-inch knife and headed to his chosen target. Now, upon arrival, things ended quickly because the one critical detail that Derek overlooked was that his target was a gun shop. And again, he had a baseball bat and a 9-inch knife. So, long story short, the gun shop owner held Derek at gunpoint until the police arrived and arrested him.
Jesus.
Man, if you're going to rob a gun shop, I would think you definitely want to do it after hours.
I would,
even if I'm armed with a gun, if it is business hours and you're going to try to rob a gun shop, I think it's going to end poorly, as it did for Derek.
Right.
He did not get shot, but basically the guy realized he had a baseball bat and knife. So basically the cashier reached to his waist, pulled out the gun and said, "Man, just stay there so I don't shoot you." And Derek did. What do you know?
Okay.
Went through all that planning. It's like, dude, it's a gun shop. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Ron. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Thank you.
Hola. All right, Ron, you're welcome. And you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, sir.
All right, you got your choice of 1 to 3 stories today. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did somebody find in their food? We have Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem. And finally, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Oh, man. Let's do the animal game.
Animal. All right, this story's a little disturbing. We go to a Kansas zoo, which was temporarily evacuated when an animal apparently decided the zoo life had become unbearable and attempted to tunnel out of its enclosure. The city of Independence said the visitors were ushered out of the Ralph Mitchell Zoo when the animal, one of 3 sisters in the enclosure, attempted her unsuccessful escape on Sunday. Quote, while the animal never made it out of the enclosure confines, she did manage to dig under the viewing platform and slip barely out of sight of staff for a very brief period of time. They say staff quickly responded to the situation, coaxed the creature back into the security of her pen, and are taking steps to reinforce the enclosure to eliminate any chance of a future breakout. Now, officials wrote that the incident was resolved within 10 minutes, and the Independence Police Department was notified. And, of course, they said all the right things. Safety of our visitors is always our number 1 priority, followed by the well-being of our animals, blah, blah, blah. But it should be noted, the 3 animals, they will be kept off exhibit for a few days while zookeepers work to reinforce the enclosure. So the question is, what was the animal that almost escaped out into the public? Was it a bear, a hippo, a wolf, or a lion? So bear, hippo, wolf, or lion, one of these 4 animals, and I saw a picture of it, it's crazy, is digging under the enclosure so it can go maul people.
Yeah, so you said there's a sisters and they dug under the enclosure. I think I'm going to have to go with wolf.
You're going to go with wolf, Ron. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ted, I'm going lion. I'm going big or going home.
Lion.
Because that would be like, dude.
I mean, they were like,
wolf, like, yeah, you're a dog. You're going to dig. I get it. Just hold on. We'll get you out.
Get mine. Like, once they realized this thing was trying to dig out, they're like, we need everyone to leave.
Like, did you specify what kind of bear? Or just bear?
A big one.
A friendly bear. Big friendly bear.
Well, you know.
Smoky, Yogi.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I feel like a hippo would be scary.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm going bear because they sleep underground. They hibernate, so I feel like the bear can dig.
Okay. All right. We're going to find out what animal tried to escape the zoo. Was it a bear, hippo, wolf, or lion next?
That was a tease.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's warming up, folks, and about time to turn on your AC unit and cross your fingers. Or you can give up that moment of truth and switch to an American Standard heat pump system like I did. My place is on Comfort Autopilot thanks to American Standard. Energy efficient and reliable, my heat pump keeps things cool like the Arctic in the summer. And with energy incentives, I was able to save. Ready for the future of comfort? Learn more at americanstandardair.com/electrification.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyze this on Profile This. Kansas Zoo had to be evacuated after an animal tried to dig out of its enclosure.
Yeah.
She did not make it, but they were so worried that this animal could get out that they freaked out. It's like, everybody out of here. They were able to return the animal to its exhibit site, the enclosure that it was supposed to be in. Question is, was it a bear, a hippo, a wolf, or a lion?
And Ron, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery.
Nice.
You went with the lion?
Yeah.
I like the spirit, man, but it was not a lion. And Ron, you went with wolf from the jump. It was not a wolf. Keep in mind, there's no good answer. There's only a right answer, Ted. You said a bear.
Yep.
And you are correct. I wish I could remember the kind of bear they said. It's not like black Ronald Grizzly. It's like a Siberian something. Anyway, I saw the picture, and I'm like, it's big enough that it would kick your ass. And then a picture of it, basically with its head out of the fence, but still trying to dig. Couldn't get its body out, but got its head.
Was it like during the day? Were people there?
Yeah, there were people at the zoo, man. Oh, yeah. When they figured out what was going on, they're like, we're going to close a little early today so no one is mauled.
That's nightmare fuel. You're looking at the bears in the enclosure, and then all of a sudden the head's popping out?
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm out.
Now for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Scandals, boys.
Scandals?
We got another sports scandal.
Oh, no.
This one doesn't have to do with women's basketball.
Okay.
In fact, for one day a year, it might be the biggest sport in the world.
One day, hang on.
Indy 500?
No.
Horse
Think more
racing?
of an exhibition of human strength, determination, guts, glory, and swallowing.
Oh, competitive eating.
Correct. Joey Chestnut in the Nathan's annual 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Now, we all know Joey Chestnut. I believe he's a there he is. 13 consecutive champion. God. Now, a little backstory. The guy that runs that, the guy that does, hit that one more time, Mike. The guy that runs that.
Chestnut!
Great announcer. He does all that stuff, right? Now, he's a little bit of a hard head to deal with. So that's why Kobayashi, who was from Japan, who was the reigning champ, whatever, the Chestnut finally beat him. But they had some beef because Kobayashi would go do other stuff that weren't.
Yeah, all beef, Ted.
I thought it was pork.
Depends. By Hebrew National.
Jesus Christ. That's what happens, Ted. Pick your words carefully.
Mike, you had a little bit of Randy Mood today, huh? Thought it was pork.
I'm feeling good over here, man. Working from home gives me a little bit spicy. I love it.
Three-figure pour in the books.
Yeah. So that's why you don't see him anymore. Now, Joey Chestnut has been ruled out of the 2024 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Basically, here's the deal. Chestnut obviously is the biggest name in competitive eating, right? I mean, I don't even know.
Easily. There was the Black Widow on the female side.
Sonia Thomas,
right. There's Joey Chestnut. Without Kobayashi, I mean, right. Those are the only three I know off the top of my head.
There's Eric Badlands, or the Badlands dude. He's a big boy. There's Eric the Red that I think was from out here. There's the guy that always wears kind of funny makeup, but like, you might see him, but you really know Joey Chestnut.
That would be the one that would probably pay the most out. There's a wing eating one. There's all kinds of stuff, and I know for a fact that these guys get paid an appearance fee to show up at a lot of these eating contests, even if they're the previous champion or what. They'll still give them $10,000. Sure, pay for their flight, pay for their hotel room, all these things. But Nathan's was going to offer him like $1 million over 3 or 4 years.
So last year, I guess they paid him $200,000.
Okay,
and then he was offered $1.2 million for a 4-year contract going forward,
which tells me that this company either paid more money than that $1 million contract to be the sponsorship, or he didn't know that if he took that sponsorship, that they were going to strip him from being able to compete.
So Joey Chestnut signed a deal with Impossible Foods, right?
All right.
That makes a vegan Frankfurter imposter made from plants. Now, what I've read, and granted, this is just one side. Chestnut really hasn't spoken on it yet. He just got banned today. Is that they were still going to pay him his money. but he had to eat the beef hot dogs.
Right.
Because, I mean, Nathan's is pretty simple. You got to eat the beef hot dogs.
Sure.
I think they wanted him to eat the vegan ones, and, like, the contest is, like, you know, like, that's pretty easy. It's an easy contest. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked under the same basic hot dog eating exclusivity provisions. However, it seems that Joey and his managers have prioritized a new partnership with a different brand over our long-term relationship.
It's called Nathan's Hot Dogs.
Yeah. So Nathan's what?
Well, he could still represent Impossible Foods in the vegan one, but I'm with you.
Eat the regular hot dog.
But if you go to a Nathan's hot dog eating contest, I feel like you have to eat the Nathan's.
And I'm sure Nathan's has a vegetarian hot dog option in their locations, in their branches. So one doesn't seem to really butt heads with the other. If you're going to make that determination where you're not going to eat meat, people who want a hot dog are going to eat a hot dog. But back to the competition. You have to eat the same foods as everybody else.
Right. That's, I mean, in a food eating competition, that's kind of the key part.
So was Chestnut saying that if he did this contest, he's going to eat the veggie dogs, or do they just not like that he's repping Impossible Burger altogether?
I think that he wanted to eat the Impossible dogs.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
He should have known better.
Yeah, come on,
that's kind of on him then.
But I think I also read a number that said they paid a 1.4, which is $200,000 more over 4 years to do that.
It's like going to a wing eating contest. Like, no, I'm sponsoring meatless nuggets. Like, no, you're not. I mean, you can sponsor anything you want, but
not in the competition.
You got to eat the chicken wings.
Right, and I'll probably have more. There'll be more info on it tomorrow. I'm sure Chestnut will come out and speak about it. But there's not a ton of money outside of him and Kobayashi, these main dudes that make a ton of money. But I know Kobayashi used to still show up in New York City and would do like an exhibition down the street. So, I mean, it's kind of like you see with these celebrity, kind of boxing matches. I mean, if Chestnut and Kobayashi want to run it back and rematch and eat plant-based dogs and put it on Netflix on July 4th, guess what? I'm going to watch it.
And you know what? Back to what you were saying about Caitlin Clark in the Olympics yesterday. It's the same exact scenario. Whatever Nathan's thinks that they've done, look, here's the rules. You have to eat our hot dogs. And by the way, by banning you, we just lost most of our interest and viewership from this competition.
But what would you have him do? I would not let him eat something other than what they're going to compete with either.
He's got to eat what everyone else is. But at the same point in time, they lose. Joey Chestnut loses. Like, both sides lose on this.
They do. I will say this. Me and my brother like a lot of sports, but the July 4th, that's always one weird thing. Like, I'll get up early to watch the feed from the East Coast live, and that's what we do, right? We'll text each other. So, like, I think I would still watch the Nathan's one without Chestnut, just because that's the biggest hot dog eating contest or food consumption contest in the world. I'm pretty sure you have to qualify for it, like the Boston Marathon.
I think you're right. Like, you can't just show up and say, I'm going to do this.
But again, if Kobayashi and Chestnut are going to run it back, the two greatest eaters of my lifetime, and it's on Netflix or something else that I have, like, as long as they're not on at the same time, I don't have to choose. I'd watch them both.
Yeah, easily. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Right. And we're definitely in a world now where there's all kinds of exhibitions. Right? Like with boxing and everything else. It's just like, all right, you can go see it. This is kind of funny. As if people don't like Ryan Reynolds enough. Here's another reason to like him. Yesterday.
I like how you say it. Here's another reason to like him.
Well, I don't really know anything bad about the guy. And then when I watched him on Welcome to Wrexham, I was like, he seems pretty cool. Seems nice to people.
Were you disappointed? Like, you're waiting, like, where is the crack in his armor?
The tone in my voice is pure jealousy.
I know. I was going to say, no one says, like, here's another reason to like him.
Yeah. So yesterday, during The View, Whoopi Goldberg pointed out, sometimes you look up and you go, oh, that's really great. And then you look over and go, oh, snap, there's Ryan Reynolds. Why was he at the taping of The View, sitting in the audience and not being interviewed? His mom was visiting from out of town. She's a huge fan. She wanted to go. So he took his mom and sat in the audience.
Of course.
Reynolds.
You know what pisses me off like that? Who's the blonde? Bradley Cooper, right? Good-looking guy, seems nice, super successful, and so you're already on that jealous tip, right?
Yeah.
And then Miles shows me this video, and it's Bradley Cooper, and he's in France being interviewed on French TV. And the woman who's interviewing him, obviously his friend, so, s'il vous plaît, blah, blah, blah. And I'm waiting to hear his interpreter. Son of a bitch speaks French.
Well, she spoke English, and she asked him a question in English. And then he answered in French.
And whatever he said, like, she turned red and covered her mouth and was all chuckling. I'm like, dude, I cannot believe you cannot be
The
this
great thing
suave.
about Ryan Reynolds is he also throws his mom under the bus a lot on social media. So did you read the comment that he wrote?
Right, he said, quote, I try to do what she says because you don't know what she's capable of. Unspeakable violence my whole life. He also said he called in to get tickets as a favor and said he's, quote, Blake's husband, Blake Lively.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason I really dislike him.
Because he's with Blake Lively.
Right, I just yelled it right now.
If it wasn't
that's the other
for
reason.
And yet you had your shot, Ted. But Ryan swooped in.
Yeah, they weren't together. She clearly would be dating Ted Smith.
Sure.
I have no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
God, watching her, though, in those the press box of the NFL season last year with Taylor Swift, I wasn't even looking at Taylor Swift.
No.
Taylor Swift is unusually attractive.
Unusually.
But I could not keep my eyes off of Blake Lively. She just looked like, wow.
And she's got a little more curves to her body, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Sounded bad.
No, it doesn't.
Got that mom bod.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was like, all right, well, having kids did her well. Jeez.
Damn. Tell her that.
Well, I would.
Having children did you well, girl.
I've known plenty of women over the years that had kids, and like, I think, obviously when people are pregnant or afterwards, they still carry a couple extra pounds. Mm-hmm. But like, I know some people that were so tiny. I was like,
how did that thing get out?
I was like, that's the best you've looked. Right? Like, I was like, you looking like a lady now. She's like, I've got to lose weight. I'm like, I don't think you do.
Don't do that.
If you watch the husband and the wife, they both gain a few extra pounds. The difference is the wife typically loses it, or the husband keeps it.
Sympathy weight.
That's right. I mean, the guy, like, what happened to you, man? Did you get pregnant too?
I sort of did.
I was going to say, yesterday I was talking about watching sports because I didn't watch much this weekend, and I said, hey, the Oilers, that goalie from Florida can't be that good again. He did give up a goal, but I was wrong.
Early on,
and then
it was done.
Yeah, it was done. I even got chirped by Mike. He was like, what were you, he's texting me. He's like, what were you saying about betting on Edmonton? I was like, yep. But keeping with the sports theme, it turned on the Mariners. They were down 4-0. That last few innings was great. Also realized I already know I'm getting older, but sometimes you think something and you don't realize it's an old man thought. So with 2 outs, the Mariners, I forget his name, Mike help me out, but he lays down a bunt.
Oh, yeah, down the third base line. Great play.
Great bunt.
Scores a run.
2 outs, right, scores a run. Just a gutsy call. So I tweet out.
That was Rayleigh.
It was. So I tweet out like, God, I love a good bunt. Trident's up. And then when I flip back over to my Twitter feed, I see people being like, save this highlight for your dad who just wishes that, I'm like, oh, God damn it. Like,
nothing good better than a good old bunt.
Yeah, small ball. That's what I like, boys.
Drag down the line.
Obviously, Cal Riley won the game with a walk-off grand slam, which is much more exciting than a bunt.
But that's not what you tweeted.
It's not. And I thought about going over the top, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it out there. Screw it. I'll be the old man. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sure everybody does it. You're just like, you grow up playing a sport, it's like, bunt. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting into a fight with my friend once because it was, this was years ago. We were watching an Orioles game, and he's like, why don't they bunt here? And I'm like, that's the cleanup hitter. He's not going to bunt. And he's like, how do you know? And I was like, that dude might not even know how to bunt. Right. He's a DH cleanup hitter. And he was like, that can't be real. And I'm like, I mean, I'm trying to think of the most famous DH guy, like Big Papi. Right? Mm-hmm. Ortiz. Like, I don't know that guy, if he had to, would really be able to lay down a bunt. They just don't practice it.
Right.
And then you go into football or anything else. It's like watching basketball. It's all this one-on-one. But those guys are giant athletes. There is a break tonight. They say basketball returns tomorrow evening for the end of that. And it was...
Hockey's back Thursday, I think.
It is. And it was a long break there in between, what was I going to say? In between, like, some of the conference championships and the final rounds. But it is awesome. Credit to the NHL and NBA. It is nice when you just have 4 teams going for championships and, like, absolutely. Alternating nights. It's fun,
They don't put them up against each other.
Think about that.
They figured it out. Let one league have their night. You do the next.
Everybody wins.
What a concept. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
For those in the market for flavor, there's Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, a flavorful drink that's a modern twist on a Mexican street classic, with 4 vibrant and refreshing flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, hibiscus, and cucumber lime, made with a splash of real fruit juice. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas are perfect for any fiesta, small or big. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas, boldly authentic, vibrantly flavorful. Drink responsibly. Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas flavored beers imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hibiscus contains juice only for color.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Odyssey.
The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Georgia man is pulled over after doing 143 miles an hour in a 65 zone. Meanwhile, a Florida man takes off clothes in an RV park, and his junk stick was shown. Men beat Guinness record by making a bicycle that is 20 feet high. Not good when your ex-girlfriend causes one of your relatives to die. And a drug dealer tries to swim his way to freedom and fails. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. We go to Florida for a very Florida story. There we go. Police got several calls from a local neighborhood.
Sorry, the wrong one. My fault.
Yep. Stack 2 there, Ted. Officers arrived at the scene and followed directions from witnesses who say that he was last spotted walking around naked in front of his RV camper and were able to meet him at his home. Right on brand, the man answered the door in nothing but a T-shirt being used as a pair of shorts. I know that Miles loves this part. His genitals were hanging out of the neck hole.
Yeah, gotta get some air.
Damn, man.
The fact that he's just got this.
Oh, man.
This portal, and he's got them just hanging right out. Good work. Officers took him into custody for public nudity, but when asked why he felt the need to walk around in his birthday suit, his reasoning was short and sweet, believing that because there were nude beaches in Florida, he can walk around his neighborhood naked.
He missed the beaches part.
Right? I mean, nude beach, not nude neighborhood.
Right, they don't just stop at nude.
They have nude neighborhoods. Go find one of them.
The RV parks is fine with me.
But I wouldn't be shocked, though, to see somebody walk around naked in an RV park.
No, I wouldn't either.
Honest to God, of all the places that I would just expect, if that's going to happen, an RV park, I wouldn't even call the cops. I'd be like, yeah, what did you sign up for?
That's Larry. He just walks around wearing his T-shirts and shorts, hanging brain out there.
That way, at least
so he was wearing shorts, but he was sticking out?
I think he put the T-shirt on his shorts to, dress himself for the cops that were at the door. I think he was legit just walking around naked.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I can't say the word, but there's a term. I usually call it poo bearing it, but there's another there's another term if you're just wearing a shirt and no
he was
pants.
doing that.
Right, shirt.
Is it a reverse poo?
No.
You still imply the poo because it's a shirt. He's just
saying.
not wearing it up top. He's wearing it on the bottom.
So change a letter and it would be, the term would be
shirt talking it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right. And then, sometimes I don't like those people when you run into them at certain festivals because then it's like, because of the shirt, it's like, well, now I'm looking at your junk because you're right there. Where if you were just naked,
yeah,
I don't know how to describe it. It's just like it's drawing attention to your junk.
That's why
exactly
I do
what
it.
is.
Yeah.
If you need to cool off, you take your shirt off. You got a lot of heat that comes off from there. You don't just walk around without pants.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've done that around my house because it's funny and I'm alone from time to time and it's funny. But it's not more comfortable. You know what I mean? It's not like it gets more air or anything like that. Anyway. While reading headlines may seem like an easy task, it comes with its own set of difficulties, such as the one displayed on the BBC. One of their news hosts who had issues in the past is going viral once again, this time thanks to autocorrect. While reading her headlines, she became confused while reading a story concerning hazel dormice and their declining population after the script said, quote, "It is hoped a new project would sees them re-released into their natural habitat to restore their population. She immediately drew attention to the gaffe that it was habit instead of habitat, blaming the autocue and signing off as, quote, I'm Ron Burgundy.
It's the way to do it.
Basically, just it auto-corrected wrong. I don't know if she types them up herself. She might, but then I think the autocorrect just did her in there. She actually got in trouble a while back because I think she swore on the air and then flipped off her friends live on the air.
Yeah, she didn't know the camera was still on.
Right.
They're like messing with her, so she flips them off. And if you watch the video, you can tell she's like, oh, no.
Sorry.
Oops.
This is going to take a pretty bad turn. There's a horrible story out of Michigan. A woman was arrested and faces multiple felonies after not handling rejection well. In the fallout of a recent breakup with her boyfriend, the woman thought it would be a good idea to go to his house, pour an accelerant onto his porch, and set the home ablaze before texting her ex, quote, your house is on fire, hoping that it would make her ex feel her pain. Yeah, setting somebody's house on fire. That's the same as being broken up with.
I wonder why I broke up with her.
Yeah. Unfortunately for all involved, her ex had family in the house.
Oh, no.
Including his uncle and his fiance and his disabled mother. The couple were able to make it out of the home, but his mother, unfortunately, was pronounced dead at the scene.
They jumped out of a second-story window onto a concrete driveway.
Jesus, man.
So it wasn't like it was an easy way out. And then she said, afterwards, she told the cops, I went to McDonald's to buy cocaine.
All right, I was about to ask. There's got to be drugs involved, right?
Something else.
Because that just... I don't care how upset you are. That can't be a normal reaction.
No.
Jeez. And also to tell the cops that, yeah, I did it, and then afterwards I went and got cocaine at McDonald's. Like, all right, you just want max sentence, don't you? Like, criminy.
Also, irony getting cocaine at a McDonald's.
Well, you're not there to eat.
Oh, man. Over to the UK for a dose of brilliance. Officers in the area spotted a man sat on a fence with a man bag across his waist and placed a plastic bag as well and decided that they wanted to have a chat with him. That's what the story said. They called it a man bag.
Fanny pack.
Yeah. But fanny there means vagina.
Man bag.
So, yeah.
Right. After noticing that he'd been spotted, the man casually jumped off the fence, ran
Oh, no.
through some bushes and drove into a nearby river. Smooth. He then tried. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry,
now.
yep, I know I had to drop out there. Anyway, so he casually jumped off the fence, ran through some bushes, and dove through a nearby river, and then tied his bag to some hanging branches over the water before coming out to meet officers. Shockingly, this didn't stop the officers from retrieving the bag to find cash, cocaine, ecstasy, and ketamine inside. Damn. He's now facing charges.
You don't say. Maybe he's delivering drugs to the woman who burned down her ex-boyfriend's house.
Right, he's going to make a stop at McDonald's. And just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth... Want to try that one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good news.
There we go. A record has been broken in France. A couple friends in the country spent the last 5 years theorizing, planning, and building what would become the world's tallest rideable bicycle. Beating the previous record by a full foot, the two were able to design and create a 25-foot, 5-inch tall bicycle. You can actually catch a video of it online, and it is nuts.
It's nuts trying to think about how you get off of it.
Exactly.
It's 25 feet. That's over 2 basketball heights and a half.
They towed the thing in there. It looks like it's like 5 guys shoulder to shoulder wide just to set the thing up, or rather long, I suppose is what it is. And then they got to bring out a doggone, a tower to be able to sit on top of it and then get it started.
I think balance would be tough too. Just trying to figure out the balance on something 25 feet high.
It'd be cool if you live like on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. Just park it out front, go out to your balcony, just kind of drop down 5 feet, right off.
Better be right in the grass on that.
In the world of men's room sports, the Oilers went completely the opposite of the Ted Smith prediction and fell yet again last night to the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final to put them behind 2-0 in the series. Next game will be Thursday evening at 5 p.m. As far as your Seattle Mariners, I'm going to eat my own crow. I'll admit that I was a bad fan last night. Tuned up in the 7th as they were down 4-0 with things looking grim. But much to my gleeful shame, they put a massive rally together in the final inning to come out ahead against Chicago 8-4. Tied it up in the 9th. And then a walk-off grand slam by Raleigh. Let's go. They'll go for the series in Game 2 tonight over on Root Sports. The first pitch is at 6:40. Brian Wu was originally supposed to get the start, but he was scratched from tonight's game on reports that he didn't feel too well. They got an MRI, said that he had a forearm issue there. So Jonathan Diaz gets the start in his place. Coming up from Tacoma. Good luck.
Let's go, Diaz.
As far as your weather, clouds are moving in a little bit to cool things back down to the low 50s tonight, and that'll make way for tomorrow where we can expect fairly clear skies and a high of about 67. That is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Who Sucks Less. Kevin Deers is up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.